Andre, we were at the airport checking trunks of cars that have been parked there for a while. Here in Chicago, that's how they do it.
United lost the baggage. I got lost in baggage claim over there. But yes, I'm back. I'm back. Much needed a little rest there, but I am back in these markets. I forgot.
It's a good thing we had you chipped. We were able to find you.
They got me. That's awesome. Right. Awesome.
Did you I'm going to pull out of here, guys.
For me?
I did. I did some skiing. Did skiing with Michael. It was good to see everyone out there in the mountains, but it is very good to be back. And I was like, come back. I see prices haven't changed that much since last Thursday.
No.
The pretty good non-farm reading there, right? But yes. Right. So I'm playing a little bit of catch up. It's been a minute since I've been in the market. So if I do make a trade, which I'm probably not going to, it's going to be light and tight, dip a toe in the market. Rips, you were saying that it was light volume yesterday. And we got CPI tomorrow, so you kind of attack this day, gingerly, lightly, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, Johnny, what have I missed? Get me up to speed here, Johnny.
Well, you really didn't miss anything. I mean, yesterday's range was inside the previous day's range. Looked like we were going to be staying inside yesterday's range, but now it looks like we're going to be opening with a slight gap in the S&P and in the NASDAQ. But you can see all that here. Here's Thursday's range, Friday's pullback, yesterday's range, today's range. Volume was very, like Rips and I were saying earlier, the volume was very low. A lot of people just hedging and positioning for whatever's going to happen with that CPI tomorrow. And, as Rips and I both kind of iterated, just because there's not a lot coming out known, there can always be events that we don't know about that might come in and shake these markets up. So if you are in a position, make sure you're using stops. Realize, it's a slow day. You may be thinking, well, nothing's going to happen, so I don't need to put a stop in. But yes, you do.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get back into this, man. I missed these markets. This is
Dolby time is coming up, and I'm going to jump in the trunk, and you guys can go for the ride.
Knock if you need anything, Eddie.
We'll be very perfect for you guys. Thank you very much.
Let him in.
He's in.
What's up, Dolby?
Hey, Dolby time.
What's up? I heard you missed the markets, but did you miss me, Andre?
I did. What do you think I was thinking about from 2 p.m. Central to 3 p.m. Central every day, man? I was thinking about Dolby time and Power Hour, man. Were you cleaning up or what?
Oh, we were doing. Yesterday was a day.
Opening bell coming up.
Fortunate day
coming up,
and we're off.
Holy smokes! Wow.
Here we go. Dolby time.
I'm ready.
Andre, if you missed Dolby, maybe you should work on your aim.
Oh, wow. And I missed the dad jokes. I missed dad wisdom. Good stuff, man. Let's get in these markets, though. Look at 5271s in the S&Ps. Looks like the whole lot's changed since last Thursday. I know it was a good non-farm reading of over 300,000 there, but same prices here, though, Johnny. How we trade? How's volume yesterday? I mean, I see oil's trading around. Terrible. Okay, very good.
Volume. I mean, crude volume was better.
Okay.
Gold and crude were doing their thing. Just in the equities, the volume was very, very low.
Gotcha. Nope, it's not a clone. It really is Andre. This is really me.
It's the real Andre.
The real Andre. Please stand up. Here I am. All right.
Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Rips. Much appreciated. All right, let's get after this trading, guys. Rips, talk to us. What are we looking at today? I heard you trading a couple combines today. So what are you looking at on a day like today? Help catch me up, get me up to speed for those shares that may be getting back in the markets today for the first time, taking a 3-day weekend. What are you looking at? How do you get yourself back up to speed in markets like this?
Well, really the biggest clue is going to be CPI this week. We did have some consumer confidence reads that came out, and it was, I talked about this a little bit, but basically we had consumers that are worried about debt repayment, but also very strong with their finances. So a little bit of the right hand not talking to the left. But there's not really any kind of messaging that's getting the market to change what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, which is basically coming off of the heels of the last FOMC meeting, which again, we're right about to hit that May 1st meeting. And, it's one of those things where we're waiting for big data to kind of complement and give us more of the picture of what we've seen lately. And if we don't have any new information that's coming out, the market's just going to be in this holding pattern and sort of digesting the current state of where we are with FOMC and rates and everything. But basically, the market has been a little bit spooked, thinking that we may not have any rate cuts at all this year and maybe potentially be looking at a rate hike. Which is a big turnaround from what we saw in December, which was 7 rate cuts on the table. Now we're pricing in about 2. The market is pricing in about 2 rate cuts on the year here. So it's a very big about face from what we've seen lately. Just trading the opening range here, looking for a breakout above a 407 quarters to the top side. And this is the trade I want to be managing here, looking for a potential breakout because we are seeing some strong moves right now in Meta and Google across the board, but not seeing that big breakout that I want to see in Apple above 169. So just seeing if we can get this nice breakout above 407 quarters right now.
Okay, Johnny. Did you take the trade, Johnny? What were you looking to do? No. Have you been taking it at all?
Yeah, we took it on Thursday.
Yeah.
With a 2 lot, we raked in about $1,200-$1,300 on that.
Okay.
Didn't trade. Oh, that was on Friday. Didn't trade it all yesterday. I really just didn't see a reason to get in the markets pretty much at all yesterday.
All right.
This morning, the opening range broke to the downside in the S&Ps, took out the high. It's about 1 or 2 ticks from closing the session gap to yesterday's session high. NASDAQ has traded both sides of the opening range. It's now coming off a little bit. It's already closed the session gap to yesterday's high. Okay, right here. Yesterday's high was, let's just call it 18,376. Market has already closed that gap. We've got some overnight inventory. In other words, price has moved away from the opening price from last night. Approximately that opening price last night, we're just going to call it 18,314, about there. You can see it's at 6 o'clock. The market kind of looked above yesterday's high. It's already closed the gap. It's already pulling back. Overnight inventory seems to have taken over. We may see a settlement gap close, which could take us all the way back down to settlement in the NASDAQ. That's 18,295. In the E-mini S&Ps, 52.53. Quarter is settlement. So we may see these markets come back to where they were pretty much open last night, or the settlement price. Cool. In just in overnight inventory. Remember, Andre, there's not a lot of longer time frame participants in these markets right now. They're hedged. They are positioned for protecting whatever's going to happen tomorrow during CPI. So we're looking at a market that is largely short time frame controlled. You can see that whenever the market is range bound, volume is lower, participation is lower, liquidity is lower. The longer time frame just sits and waits for something to change and to cause them to change their inventories. If their inventories are where they want them to be, we're going to see a lot of short time frame control. And that is what I believe we're seeing here this morning. Closing the gap, pushing back towards settlement is an overnight inventory where, you think about who's trading overnight. Volume is very low. We're going to see shorter time frame traders barreling into a move that on the open, they're looking for that move to continue. They're looking for help from regular trading hour session traders, bigger traders. If they don't get what they're looking for, they'll unravel those positions relatively quickly. And I think that's probably what we're seeing in this pullback right here. So just keep in mind that, when we're in short time frame control, if short time frame is all one side, an opposite move is likely. So that's what I'm looking at here.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay. Goldie, time, what markets have you been flirting with since I've been gone? You been a crude guy, Dow guy? What have you been doing?
Well, a little bit of everything. I don't know if you know, so we got some new products, Trey, in Topstep X. We got some platinum.
Oh, yes, we do.
We got platinum. And we got micro gold, micro Dow. Nikkei was added, I think, last week. And then there is one more, I think, micro Russell. So four new micros and platinum.
Man, miss a little, miss a lot.
Yeah, right?
Okay, great. Good stuff.
We did try a platinum trade yesterday, but ended up taking it for flat. But it seems like one of those markets right now that you just press the buy button, and it just goes up. It is just cruising to the upside. It finally cracked like $1,000 a ton, whatever they measure it in, but over $1,000 now. I don't even know when it's done that. It's like actually done it before. What do they use for platinum even for? Like in industry? Use it like in cars or something?
Jewelry,
yeah.
Jewelry.
Lil Wayne always rapped about his platinum. I know he liked his platinum a lot.
Platinum records, that's kind of cool.
Platinum records, yeah, you got that too. Man, I'm taking a look at gold prices around 2377. Man,
yeah,
on the march to 2400. Gold is on the move
new
up.
session highs.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Gold is moving to the upside here. Here we go.
Yeah, but Power Hour was really slow yesterday and Friday. I mean, Hogan rips are right. Markets are waiting for some action. So I'm doing what I normally do. We're range bound trading today.
You got it. Thank you.
I originally took a long off the open there, Andre. I did get stopped out on a one contract position. Then we flipped short, and we're up $1,600, covering
Beautiful.
Right around 52 or so. They're off the lows, and now we're back to flat here.
Man, you do that all the time, Rips. You get a trade, you never get married to it. You unlock your bias, and you'll get with the market movement. That's a very veteran move. That's not easy to do, especially in these markets. But you seem to be really good, have a good handle on doing that. You will take the trade. If it doesn't go the way that you thought it would, you will unwind. I don't know if you hit the reverse button like Dolby Time wants everyone to, but man, you know how to get aboard that momentum. It's really good to see. It's a very veteran move. It takes a lot of experience and screen hours to get on board something.
Yeah,
platinum is used in catalytic converters as well as palladium.
Okay.
Well, that's palladium. That's pretty cool. Good enough.
Yeah,
Thanks for
platinum, not
dropping
just
that
jewelry.
info, chat. Yeah. I'm gonna work some shorts in NASDAQ at 18,409 and 18,420. What's up, Eddie? Those are the kind of like the daily range high and 4-hour range high that I'm trying to shorts. Markets have been ridiculously range bound, so I'm just expecting it to run up, do some stop runs, and head back down again. Maybe it rallies
Violently
all
range
off
bound.
high.
Violently range bound. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, crude oil is not doing a whole lot. I mean, I had a 4-hour range at 86.20 that bounced. That would have been worth, I mean, not even that much. I mean, that's kind of the thing with crude. It's like if it's range bound and it's tight, like even a perfect entry only would have netted you 25 ticks maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a ton of opportunity there. And just kind of rotating through all these markets and just trying to find opportunities. And it's pretty tough on a day like today, but maybe NASDAQ with its inherent volatility will provide something for us to trade and have some fun.
Gotcha.
Or maybe one of the other markets. Platinum, crude, gold.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
So
guys, all right, well,
putting in alerts.
We got CPI. What else we have this week? Rips. We got CPI. I assume we have PPI then this week as well.
We also have FOMC minutes being released on Wednesday as well, which should be very interesting to see. Although I don't expect there to be much deviation from what we've already heard, and it would take a lot for those Fed heads to kind of about face on what they've already said. So I'm not expecting a lot from those FOMC minutes myself. We're back in the longs here, looking for 407s to trade. Go ahead.
No, get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Back in the longs. Get in there. I got some questions for you in a little bit.
Yeah, we're seeing Apple working up tremendously strong here. Average is 30.97 quarters here. And we want to see continuation. I'm looking for a breakout in Microsoft right now, and I'm looking for Apple continuation all the way up through 170s here.
I see.
I'm going to stick with these shorts and see what happens.
Okay.
There's your breakout in Microsoft.
Yep, Microsoft is tooling up to the top side here, looking for Apple to have a small little pullback here, but continuation on that trek up towards 170. That's what I'm eyeing here.
I have a little bit of a pullback in crude, which might have some opportunities for a little scalp. We're going to try to work one at 86.05, just below the previous low, and see how that pans out. It's funny. YM is kind of rolling over right now, whereas Nasdaq is perking up a little bit. See if how long that correlation stays inverted for.
S&Ps are kind of having a struggle to the upside here as well.
Yes, they are.
Peculiar. Andre, so what'd you do in Colorado?
I got lots of skiing in. It was great. The snow was good, actually. Closing weekend out there. There's a lot of the mountains are starting to shut down, and everyone's got to go back home. The employees are done for the season. Got a lot of laps in. I didn't get a whole lot of skiing in this year on the whole, but I was able to make up for it a little bit over the weekend. It was beautiful weather. We did have a snowstorm on Saturday, but the other 4 days or 3 days around it were just all bluebird sunny days. So kind of the best of both worlds. And I still remember how to ski. Came back in one piece, so I was super happy about that. But, yeah, man, something about those mountains can just really heal you. Nice little reset for the body, for the mind, and get back in front of these screens and start trading it up. But we'll miss the mountains and hopefully see them a little bit this summer and definitely next winter. But good to get out there for a few days. Say what's up to Michael. It was his birthday. It was his birthday over the weekend. So if we do see him on TV, make sure to wish him a happy birthday.
We had the opportunity yesterday.
Was he on? Was he on here?
Yeah, he popped in for a little while.
Good.
A little cameo.
Good. Yes. I got to see his new trading setup out there in the Snowmass office. I haven't seen the new setup, but it looks like he's got everything dialed in.
What's the new one? Because I was out there a couple months ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. Just
newer.
Just like the microphones and the cameras and all his screen setup. I want to see how his setup was compared to my setup.
What was the verdict on that?
It's a little bit more dialed in mine. I like where he's got all like the YouTube chat or where he's got his chats and graphs and Slack and stuff like that. So I'm gonna change it up. Tilt as well. Some kind of change up. Show me I call it eye progression. We do it here in trading, eye progression. Like from what chart do you read to what chart do you read to what ladder do you read? And so I kind of got that some minor adjustments to make, but for the most part, we're pretty much on the same page.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
YM has really just touched the top and has rolled over so much harder than I think. RTY rolled over too. I think it's just only the NQ that's kind of putting up a fight in indices land right now.
Yeah, S&P is pulling back here at 52.66, but we are kind of holding the line here at these 90s here in the Nasdaq. We did just break lower though. I ended up getting stopped out there on my long. We were fighting there for that breakout at 400s. It just didn't come.
I wanted it with you, Rips. I wanted to be on the other side of your trade.
Were you long that?
No, I wanted to go short. I wanted to. You were long, right? I wanted to.
Yeah, I was long looking for the breakout of 400s there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to get short 409 and 420. And it didn't happen yet.
Yeah, we're having some trouble. The exhaustion at the top side of the S&Ps is likely what did it. But I'm going to try another attempt here since we are kind of bouncing there at 375 or so. So looking to get back into these longs. And again, looking for that range breakout. Seeing a nice hold above 90 would do it for me.
Yeah, I want it. I want all of these things for you to all these things to happen, Rick. Every single one of them.
Oh shoot! I just see we got
one of them.
We got a little power hour action right here, right now. As I see, all right, boys, here we go.
The band's back together. I love it.
The band is back together. Let's make some music. How was all right? Hey, Rips, real quick. If you're flat, I got a question to ask you about the Fed and rate cuts.
We're working this position right now. I'll be back with you probably in about 2 minutes here.
Do that, because I want to know how we're going to change from 7 rate cuts coming into 2024. Now we're kind of going to do 2, maybe 2.5. So let's talk about that when you get a chance. I feel like the dynamic has changed. What's up, Andy? Good to see you too.
6 contracts.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're trying to get this breakout above 400 here again. We really need to see this strong above 95 for that to have a fighting chance. And we'll see if we can add on any dips here back down towards these 80s or even low 70s here.
All right.
You're trying to add more too, huh? Wow. All right, cool.
Love it, Rips.
Yeah, we want to rip this thing all the way up through 400s, even though it's kind of getting a little cappy here at 90s. But there's a lot of stops above these 90s that we can start to tickle into if we get the juice here to the upside. If the S&Ps are starting to bounce here at 65s, that would give me a lot of confidence in this trade here. And I want to see Microsoft continuing that excursion back up to the upside here. But right now we're seeing exhaustion. So not seeing what I want to see yet to get this position even larger.
YM, on the other hand, has had enough of 39,300 and is already down almost 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. RTY rolling over, platinum doing platinum things. The NASDAQ is torturing everybody.
Yeah, NASDAQ is the only one that doesn't get the memo to go short here. We are just going back into these bands of consolidation, 85 to 91 or so.
Yep. My CL order is not doing anything right now. These are tough.
Yeah.
So what
yeah.
I mean,
it looks like it's a little choppy right now, guys. Gonna sit on your hands for the time being. Oh, here we go. You got to sell off S&P, selling down to VWAP. I got VWAP at 52.61. I don't know if all roads have been leading to VWAP since I've been gone. George, I'm looking at you in the chat for confirmation on that. But we did sell off here in the S&Ps. Like Rip said, NASDAQ still waiting for the memo to sell off. And being a bit
we had a dip down there to the 70s, which stopped me out. But looking for, again, this entry over, if we get above 95s here, I mean, this can be tremendously strong. So that's what I'd be looking for here. If we're looking over at TradingView, what that looks like is, if we're rejecting here at 65s, we do have a chance to get that excursion back up top. But we are seeing these indices starting to roll now. We are seeing a heavy roll here. So I'm back to letting this trade develop here. Apple is rejecting, Microsoft rejecting. So seeing some heavy sellers across the tape here.
Here we go.
Damn, Rips. We missed it. We missed it by like 10 ticks.
How about that?
We're heading back
story
to yesterday. Seems like we're heading into yesterday's area of value, which could put the value area special situation play in. But if you want to go to my charts, we're on there. Okay. So we opened outside the range from yesterday. We're coming back to value. That's basically VWAP right here at the high of value from yesterday. So there's a little influence there. But if we do reaccept value from yesterday, the move isn't worth the risk. I don't think that, as we say, the juice is worth the squeeze, because the value area from yesterday is 10 points. 10-point value area. And, we've got to show some signs of reacceptance of it before I can even take the trade.
YM is getting to a level that I find pretty interesting. So YM is approaching my 4-hour range low area. A lot of momentum going to that. So I wouldn't want to hop into a long right away unless it starts kind of consolidating a little bit. But the 1 minute is just like driving straight towards it. So if we can get a little bit of a small range around this area, I'd consider longs. Because we're just gonna range trade all day until proven otherwise.
This is an overnight inventory adjustment.
Okay, what do you mean by that, John?
Heading right back to settlement. Overnight inventory got a little bit long from 6 o'clock till the open, about 2.5 hours there. It rallied, but there was nothing behind it. There's no longer time frame traders adjusting inventory here. This is short time longs. And they're bailing out on those longs right now. I think we've actually traded right back down to where the market opened last night. Let me find that level for everybody. The open was 52.58. Where do we just trade down to? 56?
Yeah. 50, 58,
so
56.
Overnight inventory is now adjusted in the S&Ps. Maybe not so much in the NASDAQ. There may be more to go in the NASDAQ, but it's got to take out VWAP before it can do that. But this is Amory was talking about gap closes yesterday, and there's two ways to look at them. If you ask me, there's range gap closes, which we already did, and then there's a settlement gap closes. So we've opened away from settlement. The short time frame longs are currently unraveling those longs and taking us, guess what, right near settlement. So we could call this, in essence, a settlement gap close. What else was I gonna tell you? So I mean, we're coming right back into range, right back into value from yesterday. I think it's a good idea for those of you that wait for the IB to establish itself, the initial balance, the first hour of trade. I think it's a good idea to do that today. I think we may see better trade locations. And John Jones, I saw your question. Value high, TPO value high yesterday in the S&Ps, 52.61.5. TPO value low yesterday, 52.51.50. So a 10 handle range value area from yesterday. Is it worth taking the trade? If you're going to be risking 5 points to make 10, yes, but I'm going to be patient, wait for the initial balance to establish itself, and go from there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna work some orders here in the YM, but it's gonna be kind of further down the ladder. 39,116 and 39,122. I'm going to see if we can get a stop run of the lows that we had on April 8th. It's called yesterday. Yesterday, I'm trying to see if we can get below those. And I would be interested in becoming a buyer. I think it'd be a cheap trade. And we love cheap trades.
Those are
Let's
the best.
see if we can nibble
that was
on
the
those.
theme last week. Very successful strategy
crude
last
oil
week.
is doing absolutely nothing. So I don't know if I can even trade crude. The range is awful. It's between it's like a 20-cent range, which is like $200 on an E-mini. So it's very, very small. We actually might get filled on these YMs on the stop run here.
S&P still seems movement to the downside here. Yeah.
Dolby, you're looking for a long down there?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, we're range trading until proven otherwise. So we're in the 50K account.
Right. And we get value low from Thursday right here, 39,140.
140? Okay. Because I think we actually have started to see some buying come in a little bit. We're going to try and nibble on 2. I think 2 contracts is about the most I'm comfortable with in YM for a 50K account. Mm-hmm. We had 4 on yesterday, and it was a little bit much. Nice. A little bit much. So we'll stick with the 2 for the 50K account. I haven't traded this account a ton, so it's a little bit of like an adjustment period with appropriate risk and which markets I like. I'd probably do like 1 E-mini in crude oil or maybe 2 YM. I think even platinum could be interesting. I just don't know how viable it is in a live market.
It's a little thin.
So we're getting down there.
Yeah, it is, John.
Yeah.
It's very thin. It's very thin down on these levels here.
Yeah. Where's the volume at? Come on, guys. Rips, you said we got an auction today. I'm trying to look on we got the 3-year. Gotcha.
3-year note auction.
That's about it. Okay. All right. No number Tuesday then. Let's get in there.
No number Tuesday. I like that.
No number.
You're long.
You're taking longs here, Dolby? I think we're going to have dueling positions again.
I like it.
I don't understand how you just take shorts at the lows. I'll never understand that.
Well, I'm looking for continuation here, especially since Meta's off the low end of the range here. So if we did have a breakdown, we do have a lot of stops to pop below that. So if we do start auctioning below these 50s in the NASDAQ, we do have 30s on the table for us here.
Okay, nice. Well, we got filled at 39,122, and our target is going to be middle of range, which is 39,212. We did start a discipline challenge on Power Hour yesterday, Andre. So I've committed myself to sticking to 1 exit strategy and no waffling. And I encourage chat to also find something that they wanted to work on for this week so we can all kind of keep score together and improve. And maybe if someone's having issues, they can drop that in chat and maybe it becomes a topic of conversation for Power Hour. If someone is struggling with, say, daily loss limit or finding a strategy or something like that. So it's a little way to... Oh, Anne-Marie Band's along with me? I'm good.
Very nice. So Dolby, the discipline challenge, you say. So what exactly are you working on? What is your one thing that you're working on for your discipline challenge? Your exit strategy?
Yeah, we've had so many wonderful guests on recently, and something I've noticed is that their trading plan is so complete that they just don't really feel any anxiety in their trading. So I'm looking at you, Max Maserati. Right, holding that big ES trade that he had, and he was cool as a cucumber the whole time. And it's because he believed in his profit-taking system and his exit system, and I don't have that yet. And so that's what I want to work on, is to get really, really consistent with that, because I feel like I kind of switch between multiple systems, and I'm not getting an accurate take at just what one system can give me. So we're gonna try this one for probably till May, and then for that, see how it goes. Might make money, might not make money. We'll see what happens. But I just gotta do something consistently. So that's the goal. We're gonna try that.
I like that. I like that. I'll start looking introspectively, and I'll start figuring out what my discipline challenge, what it will be. That's something to think about. That's good stuff, Dolby. I like that. How's it been going so far? I know we're only a couple of days into it, but are you able to kind of hone in on an exit strategy?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like a range-based exit system. So we're just gonna basically try to take one off in the middle of the range and one off at the top of the range. We're probably gonna sit in trades for a real long time. We'll see how it goes. I know we had David Green on Power Hour yesterday, and he was a huge fan of constantly taking profits. I did have an idea for a system that was like that, but we might run that in May. So that system would be more base hits, less home runs. This one probably be more doubles and more home runs. So, but we'll see how it pans out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But so far,
how's your trade
good.
looking?
Very little risk.
Just closed for about $1,600 in profit there.
Nice,
Okay, it's not
nice.
bad.
So value high in the Nasdaq from yesterday. TPO value high. If this is going to help you, reps 18,330. We've yet to even get to it. We're almost through the value area in the S&Ps to the downside here. So
yeah, I'm looking for that
close to
332
that
halves level myself. So we're right in line with that one.
How does that happen all the time? I have no idea.
It's the power of auction theory.
Yes, it is.
So we get into that and we accept there might be some more downside down to 18,278 is a TPO value low from yesterday in the Nasdaq. Got to watch these apples getting a nice little pop here.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely seeing some consolidation down here. Some big consolidation here. It looks like it could potentially be some accumulation here from Anne-Marie and Dolby's trade. Could definitely be
love it.
You know,
high
looking,
five, Anne-Marie.
Pretty strong here.
from across the internet. Yeah, so we only got filled on the one. We never actually got filled on the second contract. I think we missed that one by a hair, which has kind of been the theme of my trading session yesterday. We got bottom ticked on a 4-lot in YM, and then we got stopped out by a couple of ticks again on the shorts. Left a lot of money on a lot of unrealized gains in CL. It was just like a little bit of everything kind of happened. I think the problem was that I was thinking about like the winning streak I was on, and the market was like, let's put an end to that.
Not so fast, my friend.
Let's put an end to that one. Yeah, not so fast.
Nasdaq's having a real hard time here at VWAP. 18,340.
Yeah, it is holding up there right now, but I still think that we can trade these 332 halves to the downside here. Having that top of the hour liquidity coming in, we do have a little bit of a, I think there's the TIPB economic optimism read is coming out now, so that can definitely shake things up a little bit here.
Okay.
I think Eddie will have that for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he will. Yep, hovering around VWAP here in NASDAQ. See how we react to that. Crude taking a peek to the downside. We are in that range, Dolby, here in crude, like you said. Look at the 5 minute at least.
Everything's in a range.
Yes, it is. Interesting. Yep. Didn't miss a whole lot.
But I'll still buy 86 evens in crude oil.
Okay.
And I still want to try it. I still think
we're still waiting for that number
in the crude oil market. Which one?
What do we got?
The TIPP economic optimism.
Oh yeah,
it's lagging.
The business, the small business optimism, NFIB earlier today at 6 o'clock this morning, 5 o'clock this morning, I think it was. It was due out at 88.8. It came about 88.5, at least on investing.com.
Okay.
I don't even see this number on Financial Juice.
On the Juice, yeah, I don't see it either.
It's not on there, so I'm looking at investing.com.
Nice backup.
Yeah, nothing's hit the wire yet. They're looking at around a 44.2, prior 43.5. So I'll give them a little kick in the ass and see what's going on.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Let them know what's up. Taking a look at Tilt here. I haven't looked at Tilt yet this morning. Not a whole lot going there either. So pretty quiet morning, I'd say.
50-50.
50-50. It's all right.
Gold
Morning's
long,
okay.
74%.
Yes, it is. Hey, front month in crude is, John? What's front month in crude or Dolby? What's
It's K.
Pretty sure it's
June
May right now.
Or May?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got June up. That's not gonna give me what I need.
TopstepX takes care of all that for me, so
It
I don't
does.
even worry about it. I don't even worry about it. Looks like our YM trade's doing okay. We might get filled on this crude at 86 here. We're below the 4-hour range low right now. Doesn't mean do a little stop run of that one. Okay. I think we're in good shape. So we're gonna put it at 86. The other low that I'd want to get would be like 86.05. Crude can be a little bit wily though. And I do think that like if you are trading crude, 86 evens, 20s, 50s, and 80s can kind of be targets. So since we already are so close to 86, I just kind of round down to that area because that typically is, if you're already so close, why not just stop by and say hi?
In the neighborhood. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. YM's doing okay. We want to see a push above 39,158 for YM as we make our way back to the middle point of the range, which would be our take profit one. It's also our only take profit because we only have one contract in right now.
NASDAQ holding VWAP and rejecting value from yesterday.
Yeah, 365 quarters is the level I have, John. What's your level?
Call.
For
the value high yesterday.
Oh, from yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got TPO value high at 33. 18,330.
Gotcha.
18,330 is now TPO value high. Geez, that was hard to say.
Too many dang numbers.
Yes, it was.
I swear, it's a little bit of dyslexia sometimes when it comes to numbers with me. How I was a filling broker, I have no idea.
Don't let them know that. Yep.
Of course,
This is kind of funny now. Everything else is
never an exact science.
Oh, I thought Anne-Marie flattened her YM position, and I was like, no way. Anne-Marie, you can't sell yet.
Oh, Rip's covered. Anne-Marie covered at 365. Very, very prescient cover there, Anne-Marie.
Nice.
Yeah. Covered
Very nice.
YM is still rolling. So
A great
5 minute
level to
is
cover
starting to tighten up a little bit. Starting to tighten up a little bit on the 5 minute, which is what we do want to see. Because we're trying to playing like a 4-hour range, and so it can take a little minute to turn around the boat because the range is so big. So I am still going to keep in another buy order down here at 39,116 to see if we can still push down and then rip higher again, just in case they have to find some more liquidity to get us back to the upside. But I am fully trading ranges today, just based off of what is going on in the markets and what we're waiting for.
Yeah, S&Ps are back where they were auctioning basically since yesterday here, and we're in that exact same area.
Yeah.
And really not much has changed. It really is going back to the same thesis that we discussed at the top of the call here, where it's going to be a pretty range-bound day and not much happening. There's definitely some opportunities, but you have to be seeing profit, taking profit. It's very much a scalpy market.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. It's very tough.
I'm such a bad scalper.
I think these are the days that, Yep. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Dolby, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, these are days like trading, new traders and trading combines can get, kind of chewed up.
Yeah.
Because, if you're expecting volatility and you're stuck in a range, then you're probably, you might be buying highs and, short and lows and just getting chewed up constantly. But, that's where doing a little bit of research on Sunday night can kind of help you, because you can, like, hey, it's going to be a range bound day today, so let me get my range bound strategy and, freshen up on that one. Because it's a different mindset, right? If you wanted to short, 39,300 earlier today at highs, that's going to take a different brain than trying to buy that at highs.
It's like a different brain, isn't it?
It is.
It is. I mean, listen, I love Rips dearly. I could not spend a single minute in his trader brain because I just don't see the market like he sees it.
Yeah, we did just have a breakdown back into that 32 area that we're talking about. 330s, basically where John was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we did end up having a little flush low there. And now it looks like the S&P could potentially break down a little bit more here. So be looking for a target of potentially 319s to the downside if those 330s are not holding.
And now YM's catching a bid. So I don't. YM seems to be the one indice that's kind of like, I'm doing whatever I want today.
Sure does.
I might do what you're doing, but it's going to take me like 10 minutes to get there. I need to assess and see if this direction's legit. We still can't get over 39,158. And if we can't get above it on this push here, then I probably would go to break even and pull my second ad. Because if we want this to go higher, then we got to go through 39,158. So we do not want to see this turn into resistance in the slightest. In the slightest. I mean, our entry was bonkers. Really, really good entry.
Walk right through it. Yeah, that was a great entry.
Yeah,
I like that trade.
but we gotta get through this. And if not, we'll pull this extra buy. Like if we get back down to like 39,000, if you get below 39,130, I'll probably just go to break even and then maybe reassess. But we really should be pushing higher here. Ooh, crude. What are you doing? So crude is actually.
I do agree with you there, Dolby, on your assessment.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to. Certain things have to happen if you want your position to do certain things, right?
Usually that's how that works.
Dolby, that was profound.
This is advanced. Put that in the.
Get that put on your head.
Yeah, that's a Dolbyism right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
put that in the glossary.
Yeah, you're looking good there, Dolby.
I'll stay in bid.
Nope, we're gonna hang in there.
I'll stay in bid.
So you got above 30. Okay, we touched 39,158. We'll pull the adder, and we'll go to break even, and then watch this reverse and touch my stop, and then go higher. Okay, so let's see what happens.
Now, is that your discipline?
Oh,
Yeah, I do one rule. I do
Straight.
one touch. One touch.
And then
It touches my
after it touches
entry
it once, then you can move up.
And bounces. Then I'll move up.
Got
Yeah,
it.
I always allow one touch of the entry. And I guess vice versa, also one touch of, the exit too. It's like if we need to get out of a range, we test it once and we pull back. I'm okay with that. We test it again and then we pull back again. It's like, no, we need to have a little bit more action. Crude oil, I'm glad it didn't take that long. It looks like it's kind of just rolling through. So there might be more opportunity in crude if we can get down to 85. It might be playing a much bigger range than we think. But let's watch YM, much more exciting because that's actually what the market I'm in.
yeah. YM's holding that bid. Nasdaq hovering around VWAP, not doing a whole lot there, chopping there. S&P still trying to figure out which way it wants to go. Dow showing some strength.
Mm-hmm.
Crude taking a look to the downside here, bottom out of that range. If you're looking at the 5 minute.
Yeah, I mean, I did have an order
$7.
sitting there at 86, and I pulled it, and we went to 86.02.
Yep, got close.
But it's just a problem with crude oil right now. It's just all lower highs and lower lows on the 5 minute. It's like there's not a single thing that's telling me that this is going to be like all of a sudden a bullish place, other than it's in a nice range. And typically that's like, a cheap trade, but are we going to get enough follow through to actually take profits on it? You're just going to be like, oh, you bought the lows, now you get 10 ticks, and if you don't take it in the next 2 minutes, it's a losing trade.
And you're dead.
Yep. Cool. Rips, what do you got? Any trades on?
I was just working
You're
this
playing at
this
12ers.
bid off the low here.
Rocking 6 right now? Wow.
Yeah, we were at 12. We flipped out half the position up top.
Damn, son.
Nice. Yep. Just waiting.
Yeah, looking for this breakout above 40s here.
Okay.
We go crude.
Bullish. I'm happy
There.
with that.
Crude trading 86.03. Dolby, I don't know if you got those bids still in at 86 evens, but we're getting close. Into the top of the chat here. Everyone, we got our daily levels. Please make sure you have that up when you're trading. They're pretty damn good. Refresh them daily, so make sure you have those in there.
86 has got destroyed. So I think we're going lower. Something with crude that's kind of interesting is that the range, crude could be up a lot in the overnight, and you could be like, oh, there's no way crude is going to retest the low of the day or whatever, like the low of the range. And like it is one of those markets that can do that and has no problem going from range to range, even though it looks like it would be impossible. And you pull up a 1 hour chart and it's like, well, 85.50 is not all that far away, and neither is 85 evens. So it could still do all of that and still be bullish even on even long term.
Yes, Dolby. Just for your information, the value low from yesterday, which in essence, I mean, we've been trading inside value from yesterday all the entire session, pretty much today. Value low is 85.64. That's TPO value low.
Okay.
Does that give you any good reference levels?
For a crude, can I get the number again?
85.64. The year I was born.
Hey.
Very nice. Let me see. Well, a little bit. I mean, I probably would round that number down to like 85.43 because we have a lot more bounciness down there on the 30-minute. Yeah. So we could maybe see like a stop run of that. Yeah, that would be cool. To see us get down to like maybe like 85.50, 85.40, maybe run some stops down there and then head higher again. I think that'd be very, very nice. But we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, there's still some action.
Speaking of action, we got gold ripping to the upside here, up $8 in the last 15 minutes or so. About $4 off the overnight highs here, but currently trading $23.80, almost $23, $22,381. Wow, gold is moving to the upside. I wonder what the deal is there. Any ideas, Rips? I don't know if you're flat. I'm
just about to close about $1,600 in profit there. I'm just going to close that. All right. Yeah, we just took that NQ off the lows there, closing up $1,600 on that little leg of that trade there.
You get long off VWAP there?
Yeah, we're back in the green now. We're back up $2,800 on the day.
Well done,
beautiful.
Rips. Well done, Rips.
Nice.
Very exciting. Very exciting watching it.
Trying to do something out of these ranges here. And the hint there was the fact that those bids were holding above 330s. And you talked about that level, John. You were very clear on that level. And when I hear that your levels are intertwined with the same areas that I'm looking at in the chart, I use that confluence to my advantage. And even if it's, take the trade and it's a losing trade, it's a lower risk trade. I'm maybe going to give back $600 to $900 on a trade like that. But I mean, like the profit right there, $1,600 on that leg up. So, it's one of those things where if you give me that confluence, and this is why folks out there who tune into TopstepTV, when John gives his levels and they line up with some type of trading strategy that you're employing, use that to your advantage. His levels are fantastic. And I mean, when I hear, and that's why I'm always asking you, John, what's your level? What's your level? Because you announced around those 330s, 18,330, my level's down there at 332 halves. So when we have that interlocking level like that, I got to take that. And I'm watching the tape too, looking for if we're seeing bid support down there. And we were, so.
That's what we saw.
And YM is turned out to be so far pretty favorable. We are about $100 away from take profit. So we're getting into the most anxious. The most anxious part of the entire trade is the last 10 ticks to your take profit.
Well, 10% it.
What's the 10% rule, John?
When it's 90% to your profit target, you can take the profit and call it a full profit target hit.
Yep.
So what is? Let's see.
Yep. Down turning around. Nice calling those longs in the NASDAQ there, Rips. Holding the bids.
Well, thanks to John. Thank you. Yep. Thank you for John for the confluence there.
Trading.
Oh my God! It just touched my. Oh my goodness.
You not get a fill? You got touch no fill?
It touched 4. I think it got to like 211, and I wanted like 212.
Do you use MIT when you're doing your exits? Are you use MIT or are you using limit orders? Market of touch?
I don't even know.
MIT.
Oh, market of touch. No, I don't think I even got touched. This is just whatever the Topstep X order is.
I'm curious. I'm wondering if by default it's MIT or if it's limit.
I would think for market, I think it'd be MIT for exit.
Limit.
Is it limit?
It's limit for an exit. I didn't even get there. Yeah. Hug was literally talking to me about the 10% rule. I looked over and then it runs up and misses me by a tick. So the 10%
today is one of those markets where, if if you're really not quick today, the market can go really close to your TPs and then just skitter on away. So it's one of those days where if it gets close, you should be slamming in a market order to get that fill close to where your area is. It's one of those days. Like when Andre was asking me that question, I was up $1,600 in that trade. And we started to hit that first level of kerfuffleness, which is, by the way, keyword there.
Yes.
And the moment I see that, I'm marketing out. I'm not even going to wait to get filled on a limit order there.
Right. We'll keep it. We'll keep this in there.
You're longs, right? Long in the YM.
Yeah, we've been long in this trade for a minute, actually. Let me see when we started this.
We'll get it right now. We'll get it.
Yeah, I should just take the profit.
Take a look.
We're talking to the market here. I love it.
Yeah, been there before.
It's one of those days. We got filled the YM at 122 at 850. So this has been going on half an hour for this trade.
That's sometimes the way that it goes, right? When you have limit orders out and you're looking for your price to get tagged. We live in a society right now that's that Amazon Prime, DoorDash, overnight, I need it now, Uber me here in 5 minutes kind of society. And when you're trading like this, 20 minutes seems like a lifetime because we're used to Amazon priming our trades, right? And sometimes it's just, you just have to be patient. You have to let the trade develop. The market will never move in a straight line. And more often than not, you're going to see the price go up a whole bunch and then come back down a whole bunch. And it's one of the things as a futures trader specifically that you just need to get used to unless you're a hyper scalper. But you just have to get used to it. And for you newer traders out there that are watching, it's something that you're going to have to get adjusted to. If you're coming from a different asset class, if you're maybe a long-term trader or maybe a scalper, whatever asset class you were trading before futures, you're going to have to get used to this. And one of the hardest things, I think, as a futures trader is that you're rarely ever going to see your position closing at MFE. That's maximum favorable excursion. MAE is maximum adverse excursion, but you're rarely ever going to see your trades closing at MFE. And it's one of the hardest things as a newer trader to see your profit, say, let's use whole numbers here. You're up $1,000 in a trade, and then you only, air quotes here, only close it for $800 in the profit. And you say, well, why didn't I close it for $1,000? Well, number one, you don't have a crystal ball. And number two, you're rarely ever going to close at maximum favorable excursion. So you need to get used to it as a futures trader.
Thank you.
If you do, it's luck.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so I moved my stop up in YM. So I'll lock in at the very least $300, which is
beautiful.
So we get 60% of our profit target, and it's still kind of moving to the upside a little bit here. So we'll just let this play out, and it's in the market's hands at this point. If it wants to make new highs, that's fine. If it wants to come stop me out, and that's fine too. I do want to switch to crude oil though, which seems to be kind of an interesting market right now.
Yeah, it is, Dolby.
Kind of breaking down some structure a little bit, so I wonder if there's going to be opportunity there to make some trades. We did touch 85.80s. I did mention earlier that evens, 20s, 50s, and 80s are kind of like standard bouncy levels for crude oil. So that was a 0.80 touch right there. I can just draw it on the chart. I think these are kind of important. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I would still like to see 85.40. We're probably going to get stopped out of YM, if I had to guess. But yeah, to the tick. I think, YM and I really developed kind of an interesting relationship recently where we like putting on great entries and then, having fun with the exits. It's been a fun relationship we've had the last 2 days. Yeah.
Have you thought about front running yourself, Dobie, by maybe 4 or 5 ticks?
Right.
Front running yourself.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but it works. If you get into that, you have a stretch of trades and you're always getting missed by a tick, and it's like, how do they know? How the heck do they know? And I'm even front running an area of liquidity, and you run like a group of trades where you getting stopped out at break even or whatever the case. You just start front running yourself. Maybe I'd be 5 ticks under where I'd normally take it. Now we take it 10 ticks lower. And before you know it, you're trying to take a 1 tick profit on every trade.
If I have a profit target, I'm always short of it.
We're out.
Yeah. There you go, John.
We're out. We got plus 312 on that one. So nice trade. So we got long 39,000. Here I can try to get a bigger chart, but we got long 39,122. And then held it for about half an hour and took profit approximately up here. We wanted to get the halfway point, but it missed it by a tick. Thank you so much, YM. So cool trade. Basically just another cheap trade playing the range. So we were looking for a stop run below here. We didn't get the full stop run, but we did get filled on one contract. So we were able to get 312 on that. So just a range bound play, right? I'm taking range trades until otherwise.
It's a great trade, Dolby. Good trade.
All right, guys, while we're being patient here, I missed this guy's voice and his news package. Jack, what do you got for me, man? How you been?
You missed wow, it's a weird day for you to miss my voice. It's a little bit off, but
he also missed your package, he said.
Hey, news packages. News packages. Come on.
Here we
That's
go.
what I meant. We're all talking about the same thing here. Come on.
Here's a big old news package coming up.
Oh, my goodness.
JP Morgan.
Jesus.
I always love stories like this on Bloomberg because you guys know I'm a connoisseur of vibes. I don't think I've seen before something like this where it's like use cheap options to bet on Chinese stocks. Okay.
What?
Cool. Seems a little risky. I
Okay.
don't know why, but JP Morgan is saying that. So that's the thought process that they are in right now. As we know, yesterday it was the eclipse, the best eclipse content I saw. There's an update on this too.
Whoa.
Here saying this photo is even funnier when you realize the pyramid is a Bass Pro Shop.
Oh,
Now,
come on.
here, I will explain. First of all, this got community noted. That first picture was actually the Washington Monument. But more importantly, I always take the opportunity to bring up that one of the 10 biggest pyramids in the world, counting old, new, everything else, is a Bass Pro Shop in Memphis.
God. Of course.
I want to go there.
I'll go with you, Ho. Great content.
Yes,
and
it would be.
Speaking of fantastic content, we got something from Jim C, who Jim C was on TV yesterday for the eclipse and doing the model plane flying club. I'll post the article in the chat so you can see it, but you'll notice he's got the TopstepTV hat on.
Yes.
So,
that is awesome.
Cool.
So something for all you out there. We'll set you up if you ever get onto something public with a TopstepTV hat or shirt. We'll work something out with you. Now, don't rob a bank or something like that. Make it a positive experience. But thanks, Jim, and it's pretty cool what he's doing with those airplanes.
Wow,
yeah, those
Jim,
planes are cool.
Very nice.
Shout out to Jim C. If you're in the chat, say what's up, man. That's cool.
That is
Thanks,
cool.
Jack. All right, taking a look here. NASDAQ still chopping around VWAP.
VWAP.
Crude trading below $86 even. We're hoping for that to hold there, Dolby. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a bounce. Might take a couple minutes. Give the old college try, as Michael likes to call it.
I don't know. I still think we're running lower. There's still, I think, a time frame to look at if you're trading crude oil right now is the 10 to 10:30 hour. So that's when the European session closes for crude. You can kind of get some volatility. I wonder if we're going to make a run to 85.40 between 10 and 10:30 and then get back within range. That is kind of what I'm thinking might happen. Just because we're
Carlton
just so
is in the chat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jim.
What's up, Jim? Shout out, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we can throw a top step sticker on one of his planes.
That's cool.
That'd be fun.
Your TopstepTV.
So Dolby, if you're thinking crude,
typically I am.
We have got 4 minutes left. If we close this 30-minute bar back inside the initial balance, that creates the potential for a failed downside auction. If we open the next 30-minute bar in this auction and we can't close the single TPOs, or we do close the single TPOs back to the IB low, it's probably more looking to the downside.
So what's that upside number you were talking about?
So
or like the rejection number where it goes back down?
The IB low is 86.08.
86.08.
All right.
Right. So we'll put this away for about 3 minutes, and I'll watch and see how this opens, and if it does give the implication of a potential failed downside auction, then we might look for opportunities for cheap longs. But it's going to be, there's nothing finite in futures trading, right? I mean, we could open back inside the IB in the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then it can still take out those single TPOs. So if we do leave this buying tail here, failed downside auction, we can take out a few of them. We can Pac-Man a few of these TPOs, but we don't want to take them all.
Yeah.
All right, we got some selling action here in the S&Ps and NASDAQ. Sellers are coming in. Finally broke through VWAP in the NASDAQ, and we are cruising down to the downside. S&Ps as well. S&P's trading 52.50 even right now. NASDAQ selling off as well.
You can.
Yeah, we are.
Gold is going to the moon.
Gold is going to the moon. Hoop asks, will gold hit 2,400s? And Hoop, we will find out, but I'm thinking we will sooner than later. We're on a bull run in gold. We are still selling off here in S&Ps, still selling off in the NASDAQ. I want to say it's a heavy.
I would consider NASDAQ long. Yeah, I would consider NASDAQ longs at you said 24.40 for gold.
Yeah, it's weekly kickoff high in gold.
Nice. And then I would look at 18,256.
Damn.
Yeah, I just nailed a short on that Momo.
Yeah, I'm up 5,300 now after nailing
Nice.
Wow.
That was a huge flush. We had a level at 319 halves, and once we broke those 330s, I was waiting for a pause in the action to get back in short. And 319s down to 293s. Super nice.
Still selling here.
Yeah, we broke a key level in the S&Ps. Did you see that, John? You were just talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we broke down that level here.
We took out the low of the value from yesterday, TPO value, 52.51.50. If that doesn't bring support, then, we're Andre, we're currently below yesterday's range.
Okay.
In S&Ps. Do we short it?
I was going to say our friend Austin Silver would be looking at getting short right now.
Nice.
The NASDAQ is a little bit different. The NASDAQ hasn't traded the value low from yesterday. Value low in the NASDAQ, TPO value low, that is 18,278. 18,278.
Still selling.
There it is. There it is.
Still selling.
Right,
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wow, we are selling hard.
Unwinding like crazy here. Meta's off a cliff and NVIDIA are both off a cliff here. Completely off a cliff. Meta's looking for 500s to trade. We're currently at 510. We've given up 10 points here in Meta in a jiffy. We're down at 844 in NVIDIA. NVIDIA was trading about 875. So we're cratering about 30 points
I'm going to try this.
NVIDIA.
I'm just short one S&P, just sticking a toe in here below yesterday's low. Let's see if this plays out.
Taking a short down here. Wow. I would want to get long NASDAQ at around 18,241.
I would too, because we're still in range where we just took out the low of value from yesterday.
Now seeing some sellers now. Wow, we are selling hard.
Seeing this thing flush.
Heads up,
I'm
everybody.
pulling that out.
News.
Wow.
I'm looking
news.
at financial news. I do not see anything. Eddie, if you're looking at the headlines, please let us know. I'm not seeing anything. I've been looking. It is feeling a little bit.
Wow.
They're just running.
We're up almost $6,000 now. This is still going. This is insane.
I just got 500 on a one lot there.
Let's go.
Nice.
Nice work there, John. This is insane. So I'm looking for 224 and a half here for our next level, but this is rolling completely hard here.
Yeah, it is. Feels like news, Henry. I agree. I'm not seeing anything, though.
It does seem like news, right?
Yeah.
It does feel like it. But
somebody got the CPI leak early.
They all tap. I'm with you, Rips. There's always someone out there who gets the number early.
Somebody got the number early and pressed the button.
Yes, they did. All right, still selling.
Curious
S&P
to
still
see how much volume comes in here down at these levels. But if we can tighten up here,
I keep missing an entry here because it's just moving so quickly.
Yeah,
this is just nuts.
This is why you stay patient, folks. The moves will come. This is why you stay patient. It took almost an hour into the trade. Chop around, then the market falls out of bed, and this is when you capture that opportunity.
They just got short again.
New trade, or did you add?
No, this is a new trade.
Gotcha.
I didn't even get a chance to change my profit target. I hit it so fast. I've got a 500.
Wow, yeah,
a
there's
500
NASDAQ for you.
bracket on it, and it just went and took it.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Eddie. Let's go. All right.
Oh, God.
Nothing showing a tilt. Toast with 50-50 across board. Although, here we go. Dow heavy short, 85% short as we move to the downside. Hopefully all those traders are capturing those profits. Man.
We got ours just in time.
Beautiful.
That was, yeah.
I'm taking off that one too. So, wow. Up 6,500, 6,411 bucks now.
Wow. That's how you wait that sucker out.
Crazy move.
I'm going to try.
We dumped 20
longs
points in.
Probably in like a minute or two if we can stay down here.
Dolby time, calling the bottoms. I love it.
We're in the range. Like, this is how ranges work.
It is very, very much so. That's your strategy.
Dolby time.
I mean, I had an order in at 230 and I pulled it. It's like that would have been 20 points right there.
Yes, it would have.
I pulled out of that trade at a very small loss because it started coming up through the low volume node here at 52.35 approximately. So that took me out of that trade. I think we could see a little bit better pullback off this. And we got to see. Well, we got a long time to see if we can leave a failed auction down here, or if we see continuation. NASDAQ did take out the low from yesterday, but just by 10 or so handles, and it's coming back into towards the IB low right now.
Dolby, did you grab that long?
No, I should have just trusted myself. I thought too much about it.
You call it. You gotta take it.
Discipline, Dolby.
What did I cancel? I had 30. I canceled 18,233. That was the order I had.
That would have been the fill right there.
8 points of risk on
nice
that.
fill. Yeah, that would have been cheap. Real cheap
right.
trade. Might come back. It's okay. We're only on a 1 minute chart. You know what I mean? Like the 5 minute hasn't even been done printed yet, so we got a lot more going on. Could easily come back and test again.
Definitely.
And in fact, it probably will, because there's probably a lot of people who got long down at 230 who probably moved their stop to break even. And they're
just grab
right
more of that short there.
People.
That puts us up.
Oh, nice.
7,200. Nice. Let's go.
Man, we are carving this thing up.
Yeah, that was great. We had hesitation up there towards 65s. Took that short from 65s down to 40s.
And I'm going to try a long order at 18,227 and see if they just come back down and get all the break-even longs out. Crude oil.
Yeah, this is actually a lot more opportunities than I thought that we would have had today. I mean, this is a beautiful move.
Yeah.
This is how it happens, right?
Exactly, Rips. Exactly. You just got to wait and wait and wait and wait, and then the moves come. The moves come. Like Dolby says, you cannot stay in this range forever.
You cannot.
Sure enough. Point, click, and pray worked right there. Well, I mean, those sellouts, that's what you do in these sellouts.
What a strat.
Yeah, these sellouts, you point, click, and pray. I mean, those markets, when they tank, they tank. Don't overthink it,
I
right?
mean,
We're looking
yeah,
for,
it just shows how the week they've been.
I'm sitting here looking for headlines, and the market's just making new lows. So, who cares why the market's moving? The market is moving. So get on board. Ask questions later.
Never check the depth of the pool. Just dive in head first.
I mean, sometimes just cannonball, maybe cannonball, but first.
Head first. Come on, let's go.
Head first is a little sketch. Crude new lows. Thank you, Eddie.
If crude gets down to 85.50, and I don't say it, someone please remind me, because I don't have alerts in this platform. There's no alerts in Topstep X yet, or else I'd have it in there.
So Dolby,
I'm eagerly awaiting.
We do not have a failed downside auction in crude.
You do not. Okay.
No. If you want to see it here, put it on my.
Hold on,
Still here we go. More lows. Haven't seen a damn reason why. Don't matter. We are breaking.
Left one single TPO
224,
here.
224 halves. It lines up with what you're talking about here, John. In the NQ. I mean, I did not expect a big move like this in the S&Ps either.
All right, we're long NQ 18,227. And our take profit's going to be half of range, which would be 18,244, risking 300. And we wait. And please go back up.
Just broke below 39,000 in the Dow.
Yeah, we might get rocked on this one.
Yeah, if you ask nicely,
18,200 in the NASDAQ. Closing on 5,200s in the S&Ps, about 25 points from that, but we are moving finally to the downside. So
I'm trying to ask as nice as possible. I mean, yeah, it's not great. Well, let's go to a different market. Anyways.
Very thin on the ladder in the S&Ps, John.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, YM's getting close to daily range low at 38,913. This is where being a range trader can kind of get you in trouble, because if the market decides it wants to trend today and get out of it and you're on the wrong side, it's not a great feeling. And all your trades look really stupid. But otherwise, your trades look really good. Really, really good. It's like no in between.
There's no news here, huh?
Still no news. Yeah.
Headline, John.
They're just running stops before this. That's all they're doing.
We're getting cheap prices for CPI so they can buy it up really, really low and send it to the side.
Right.
Ritz, I love it.
Probably.
I love it.
Like a market maker if all else fails.
I love it.
They're setting us up.
It's the algorithm.
Exactly right.
Someone hit the sell button on the algo.
We don't need to watch that trade anymore. We can just watch it based off our P&L on the screen here. Oh, it's God. I don't know how you trade NASDAQ, dude. That thing moves so fast. So fast.
You got to buckle in.
You really do.
Makes me crazy.
I mean, we almost got bottom ticked. I might have lost my mind if I had gotten bottom ticked for 2 days in a row.
Nothing worse, man.
But so far, momentum is actually not that bad. I do want to try to move my stop up a little bit because 300 is a little bit rich. So we'll risk 245 instead. It really shouldn't be coming back down here because when you are range trading, you really want buyers and or sellers to step in immediately and start pushing price higher. So the longer it takes, it's not great. So we'll slowly walk the stop up, but our target is 18,241.
Yeah, I'm looking for 225s. We have that level at 224 halves. So if that gives out again, we have room down to 205 here. That's what I'd be looking for on this breakdown. We do see some bidders stepping in right around 224 here, but if we get this sweep of liquidity low, should be looking at 205s on the print.
Yeah. And the ladder's just going, zooming around in NASDAQ. Kind of.
Back in, John?
Pushing it, yeah.
New sellers.
No, not right
sellers covered it.
Not right now.
Yeah, this whole take profit system I got in NQ might not be the... Actually, I'm not going to say anything. I should stop talking. Let the trade play out. Yeah. Nothing I do or say is going to change the result of this trade.
What would bring you into longs, Dolby?
Looks like
I am long.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that you were actually in.
No, yeah, I bought... what did I buy? God, it's so violent. I bought 18,227.
Gotcha.
And it's just zooming around.
This is violent.
It's quite
extremely violent. If these 224s break down, I want to be hitting this heavily here. Looking for 205s as the target to the downside.
I mean, we almost...
Here comes that break.
So we're probably stopped out of this one.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're out. Just a little bit of a haircut on that one.
Violently.
JD, we're going to come to you. We got to wait for these markets to settle down a little bit, JD, but stand by there.
There we go. Covered half. Got two as a runner.
Downside rip.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Looking for those 205s to trade. There's 205 on the print. Boom.
More sellers. Come up to 18,200 in the NASDAQ.
Baby.
Wow. What a round.
Just like that. So what does that bring us up there on the day?
Uncle Mo.
10,700.
Jeez.
Dude, sack lunch gang, bro. Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Incredible.
Damn,
There's
son.
news.
Well done.
Something
You
happened.
catch the momentum.
I know.
Let me
What?
see
This
the
is so weird.
I haven't seen a headline.
No headline.
Nothing. Maybe some geopolitical tensions escalate. Blah. I mean,
Remember, no headline. Think like a market maker.
That's right.
Okay.
Heavy short YM still 81%. Haven't really peeled off that much. John, when we get a chance, more sellers. Boy. Andre, just shut up. Get out of the way. Let the market do its thing. More sellers.
Jeez, wow. Now this is wow.
This is getting intense.
We're coming down towards those lows that we were printing on the big 500 point roll in the Nas. So we're coming close. Yeah, we're getting down there for sure.
And buckle
up. You might be trading 5200s again here in a jiffy in the S&Ps.
Yes, sir.
At the daily range low for YM. If it can consolidate, I'm taking longs. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what we do as range traders. We're at the bottom of a daily range, so this is the cheapest trade.
And you're looking for a scalp, right? Just a scalp, or are you looking for a complete reversal here?
It would be a complete reversal.
Roger that.
It would be, yeah. I mean, that's the
Sellers got to
range.
exhaust themselves. Volumes picked up. This moves to the downside. We've seen spikes in volumes, at least in the ES. I guess NASDAQ as well. Now seen a pickup in volume, but definitely spikes in volume in the S&Ps and NASDAQ with this move to the downside. So there is some conviction behind this sell-off.
Oh, my God. I like CI.
There certainly seems to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say. Conviction, definitely the right word.
I can't believe that there's nothing behind this. It's just
I'm looking.
Falling apart.
Like Rip said, they got the number early.
I'm not seeing anything here.
That's all it takes. Just get the number early.
Oh yeah, man. We had the conspiracy theories. We had it all figured out. Yep, they got the number. I'm assuming Mag 7 getting hammered as well.
Oh yeah, I'm back in here looking for this to close below 170s now. Every bounce up, I'm kind of watching too to see how much displacement there is in liquidity, and they're still just selling a lot of this. So a lot of the buyers are met with heavy selling here. So still liking this short, especially if we break down these 170s to the downside here. You can see here, this is what it looks like on Bookmap. If we were to break down below those 70s, we have a huge move, basically down to, I mean, we should settle right below 66s if we have that push to the downside, potentially getting all the way down to 147s there. So let's see if we can have any kind of rejection back down here below 170. That's what I'm watching for.
Man, did not
some
expect
liquidity
this
slipping into the long side here. What'd you say there?
So did not expect this in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people did.
Gold has pulled back. Yeah, even gold has pulled back a lot, almost 20 bucks in gold.
Yeah, seeing a little bit of a bounce here, but we need to see, for a big confirmation in this bounce, we would need to see S&Ps over 5220 again, and the NASDAQ over 220s as well.
Yeah.
If you were long the S&Ps, would you add over 5220?
I would have to see a retest and confirmation if that was the case.
So you want it to go over, come back, hold, and then add.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, but I'm still seeing weakness in the market here as we are going up. I'm still seeing it being a little bit weak, just because we're seeing some heavy offers there. So like 224s are where we'd probably show a little bit of reversal, I think, back to the downside there.
Hey, there's Lacey. Sorry.
Hey, just on time.
Seen a bit of a bounce here, yes. Above 18,200 in the NASDAQ, just barely. See if we can keep our head above water. If not, we might see another push lower. Dow not catching the bid. Dow just gets sold.
Yep. Let's see if we get below 38,844. And I would try to nibble at a long, and that would be a daily range play. So we could be in that trade for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, I'm still looking at this from the short side here.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right play. But I'm trading ranges, so we got a big ass daily range, and if we're gonna run stops, then that's gonna be the cheapest trade on the daily. It's just have to be accept a lot of risk because it's gonna have a lot more volatility.
Just remember, if these 70s give out to the downside, we would see this really start to crater. I mean, we've already cratered, but I mean, I would see more downside if we see 70s start to give out in the NAS.
70s in the NAS. Let's take a look.
170. If 70s start to give out, I do think that we have another leg to the downside here.
And that's just from what, Bookmap?
Just looking at the liquidity and prior day interaction with that level. It's where we had some thick liquidity, so we do have some stops that are looking to get ran below those 70s.
Got it.
So there we go into those 80s, some big heavy sellers.
Wow.
And now looking for these 70s to sweep low here. That's what we're looking at on the trade.
More sellers. We got.
Ooh. We got the
we have some news.
Yeah, I just contacted Financial Juice, my buddy Jamie over there. And I said, what's going on? And he says, no news catalyst on this. Not seeing anything at all on their end, perhaps technical or positioning ahead of the CPI tomorrow. So that's the answer from Financial Juice.
Cool.
Okay, here's the 70 pull now. Seeing if these 70s break. We're seeing some bid support stepping in pre-70s here. But if we have those 70s break, it will get extremely speedy back to the downside here again. You can see 70s rejecting initially. And Microsoft is coming down still. Meta's still coming down. Apple's kind of pumping the brakes here, but still think we have more room to the downside.
I'm going to put bids in YM at 38,874 and 38,863.
Yeah, I think we can auction this back down to 118s if we get that move through the 70s, actually.
Yeah, I think it's time to step in and see if we can get filled on these.
Time is now, Dolby says.
Daily range low. I mean, you don't get these opportunities that often. And it's like the risk reward is really, really good. So maybe it only pans out like 1 out of every 5 times. But, you know, if you do happen to nail a daily range trade, there's just a ridiculous amount of upside to the trade. It's much more valuable than, say, like a 15-minute range or a 5-minute range. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you look really, really stupid if you're a range trader and your range just gets ripped through. Does not look like a good trade. But over the long run, I think it is, you know, it's a good way to do things.
Yeah, there's definitely some bidders that are showing up down here, but the more bid support that we show, the harder it's going to flush through these 70s because those stops will get popped. Any of these early knife catching traders will get blown out here on this move through the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Are you short now?
Here we come, testing those 70s again. Some front running into those 70s as well, which again gives us more fuel to the downside if we do break that level.
Are you in a position now, Rips?
Yeah, I'm just looking for those 70s. I have an average of 205.5 here.
Got it. That's a nice level.
Looks like NVIDIA has cautious comments from UBS. So maybe UBS did a little warning statement on NVIDIA. Maybe that sent NVIDIA lower. I mean, that seems... I don't know if that would sink the entire market. Just one NVIDIA? One bad news in NVIDIA?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Even Platinum sold off. Waved goodbye to 1,000.
All right, buyers stepping in here. NASDAQ, S&Ps, Dow as well.
Yep. Let's see if we can even...
Did you end up taking that trade there, Dolby?
No, we ended up not getting filled.
Gotcha. We've got almost 4,000 people watching right now. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. We got some real action in the markets today. I know yesterday was a bit slow. First hour of trading here was slow. My golly, we picked this up and the market fell out of bed and we were trading right around the lows. Buyers have stepped in, maybe a little profit taking, maybe some new longs entering the market before the CPI, cheaper prices. Let's see how this plays out. Dow as well, catching the bid. See if we get some push to the upside or if these buyers will just fuel the move to the downside with their stops. Yeah, let's see how this plays out. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it did not get filled on that one. I mean, even if we did get, I'm going to move these down a little bit just to kind of accept a little bit more.
All right, big flush down into these 70s potentially again. We're looking for these.
There we go.
You can see that. Look at big sellers coming in, and they are front running into those 70s. But again, if we actually snap that 70, we should see a violent move here to the downside. There's a lot of front running going in above those 70s. The level that I have is 66, so I'd be pretty hard pressed if we don't tag that 66.
66s.
So watching here right at these 70s again. Seems to be a very heavily trafficked area down here.
Well, tug of war.
A lot of volume here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is stacking up here. Rips, did you hear about Taiwan Semiconductor? They were awarded a $6.6 billion grant by the U.S. Commerce Department for a plant in Phoenix.
Yes, and that did make, there's the roll through 70s. There we go. Flush through 70s. Beautiful. Exactly what we're looking for there. Absolutely gorgeous. Getting a nice fill here. And I'm just going to cover that out there. So that will add a little bit more juice to our total here.
You're just crushing this right now.
Getting with Mo.
Yeah, we're up 12-6 now.
Shit.
What'd you say? Get with Mo?
Getting with Mo, momentum. Uncle Mo.
I like momentum. That. Get with Mo. Yeah, I love
that. We got some liquidity downside. 5208, John. See a 350 lot sitting on the bid, and the S&P is 5208. 350 bid.
Yes, there is.
We got, oh man, very interesting level on the YM right here. I think we're close to getting filled on a long.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, this is the opening range from Friday. Friday was a pretty good up day, right? We cracked it on Thursday. We opened and drove right from this level where we're currently at in the S&Ps, and
prices
we drove. That was a big move to the upside. So. If we've still got buyers in this area, that's kind of what I'm hawking for, but I'm not going to step in front of this. Rips, I've been kind of watching tick charts like this 1,000 tick chart here.
Oh, yeah.
If we start to see higher lows and higher highs, that might mean that buyers might still be present down there. We could turn this thing around. But again, I got to be patient and wait for the right opportunity there. What do you think of that idea? I mean, looking at that 30-minute chart. And this is, based in the S&Ps, opening range. We're right in that opening range right now from Friday. That's where buyers really came in and recovered us after that, that dump on Thursday. What do you think of that?
So, well, what I'd say is you're watching on the tick chart, right?
Yeah.
Watch for compression as we get down to these areas. The more compressed we get, the more we get to this consolidatory area. Like that break of 70s, we were compressing, but you'd notice if you're even looking at a tick chart, you're not making higher highs. Instead, you're seeing ceilings of compression, and it's bringing it down lower and lower and lower. And that's why I was so confident for that break of 70s, is because if you're going up towards that volume and they're capping it off with heavy orders, it means that they're defending those levels. We got as high as 95s. We didn't even see 200s. The fact that we didn't see 200s gave me the confidence, and I'm just talking about the NQ here. The fact that we don't see above 200 there or even entertain into the 200s says to me that we have adamant sellers that are still on the tape here. If they're not leaving the table, then they're going to take this lower, and we're going to get through that liquidity to the downside by popping those stops. So you can see it on a tick chart. You can see it on a regular liquidity chart like Bookmap. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and it's an in the moment trade. It's not taking much of yesterday or the day before's price action. It's looking even further back at the 5th. Looking at the price action that we saw on the 5th, seeing how those levels were conducted around there. And if we're not breaking that quickly. I'm looking for a quick scalp. We're breaking 70s through 66s. I had an average of 205 on that trade, so I had room to the downside. And you heard me announce that I'm looking for 66s. The low we tagged there was 61 quarters. I'm not looking for hungry eyes. I'm not looking for a flush to 118. I'm just using what the data that we're currently producing in that 5-minute, 10-minute range to guide me through that flush.
Good stuff, Rips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really good setups for Rips, because Rips are more of like a momentum trader. So this is just printing money for you, right?
Yeah, this is my bread and butter here. Like this is what I really like to be trading.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about this at the top of the call. Mm-hmm. Even though there was no news that created this move, this is why we recommended trading with stops. And just to remember, I mean, I was long to start the day and I was looking for longs and I was completely wrong on that. We flipped short. We were scalping shorts on the way down. But then once that big flush of CETO started to come to us, that's where we really started to lock in. And that's where, you know, I feel like we got a little bit more dialed in our trading there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Still going to work these orders. Still going to work the longs and the YM.
Yeah, I think you're looking good here, especially since we had that. Now we're back above 70s here. We have probed that liquidity down to the 66 level. We have compressed before we came to that level. And you'll often see that after a big sweeping move like this, you're going to have to find shorts to cover. And now we're ripping up. We're going 75s to 200s now in a jiffy. Now, here's the part where we didn't get on the first try. We're now tapping into 200s. We've auctioned slightly above it. We're currently tickling around in that area, but we didn't see that strength on the first run up. So that to me is it's an old momentum trick that you're looking for, is that if we're not going back to nice whole numbers like 200s when we're auctioning very close to it, and we already just flushed through that level, if we're not coming back to entertain that liquidity, it's pretty likely we're going to find at least a small little gap down into the prior day's liquidity, which is what we saw down there at 66.
Yeah, nice calls. So I think, let me grab my NASDAQ chart, but I thought that, yeah, so it just, the thing with NASDAQ that I find difficult to do with range-bound trading is that it just kind of finds random levels to bounce from. I pull up a daily chart, and I guess I could draw a line here because we had some stuff in the middle around, you know, early March, but it just, the structure is not nearly as tight as, say, crude oil, even YM. So that's why I find it very, very tough to trade.
Well, if you caught those longs right there, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah, beautiful longs there off the lows. I didn't catch a lick of it. I know Dolby was looking for longs. Dolby, did you get any fills on those on the way back up?
No, we missed longs by like a couple ticks, basically. I think we wanted to see new lows in the YM, and I think it just barely, just a couple ticks above the highs, and then buyers started stepping in. But yeah, I mean, that's the range trade, right? You try to find the biggest range you can. In this case, we had a daily level that we were looking at. We had a lot of support there previously. Even the last like 2 or 3 days, we bounced it at 38,880. So a really nice range. Like I said, you don't get to these like daily levels all that frequently. So when you do, it's really important to kind of hop in there and make sure you take those, because the risk reward is so good. You can get some really cheap trades. And if you do nail that, like you're sitting so pretty because you have such a good entry relative to the range structure that's formed. But it's 9 o'clock and I have to go. See you guys later.
Oh, is that it?
Time flies,
Just like
baby.
that.
Time flies. Just like that. I know. I mean, I wish I could stay for longer. We'll be back for Power Hour. I think we'll be back here for Power Players as well. But
nice. Yes, you will.
A safe scratch today. So I know it felt a little bit awkward, but in the end, we still ended up $64.40.
Hey.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Good trading today, Dolby.
Yeah, great job.
Dolby. It was a tough day. It was a very, very tough day for range traders. I'm very glad that Rips got the filet mignon plate with momentum today.
You know what I like the most about what you're doing today, Dolby, is that you stuck to your plan the entire day. You didn't give in to any kind of temptation, and that's what's always going to serve you, is that type of consistency in your trading. So, I mean, you killed it today.
And that's the goal. And when you start testing discipline like that, it's not going to feel comfortable. You're going to have to fight a lot of demons, whether externally or internally. So it is going to feel weird, and I'm just going to have to embrace that weirdness like Max Maserati does, because all he does is never smile, and that's where I want to get. But I'm heading out, so I'm gonna rotate out. Rips, pleasure, Hogue, Andre. I'll see you later. Great
In a
trading,
bit, Dolby.
chat. Manage your risk and take profits.
Happy traders make better traders.
Yes, they do. I'm trying to get there. I am a pretty happy guy. See you guys.
Yeah, you are.
There goes Dolby.
All right, so Ribs, if I'm looking on this 1,000 tick chart and we've put in a low here, I'm going to see we put in a higher high now. I want to see a higher low, and if we can get a good level, I'll take a look for a long.
Yeah.
So I am long. Hi, I'm the new Dolby in here. 2 yes from hey, what's up, Toke? 52.12, and now I'm just going to try and let them run. I've moved the stops up. We will see what happens there.
What was your average, Jack?
I got in at 52.12.
Okay, gotcha. So, beautiful trade. Gorgeous.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it turns out. I mean, it was when it's selling way off like this, you don't want to be doing like the moron or bottom picking, but I was really just giving myself 3 shots to either lose a couple $100 or get the runner. The first 2 I missed. This one is looking good right now. And now I just got to see how much I believe in this.
I think it's a really nice setup, really nice trade.
Let's see what we got. Hey, Andre, good to see you again.
Jack, what's up, my man?
Not too much. There was a lot of rumors flying around while you were away. I think we have a photo of what the chat was suggesting.
Oh gosh! Oh wow! It's holding me up like Bernie. Wow! I mean, what do you do with that? I am alive.
Art department needs a raise. That's amazing.
Yes, they do. Yes, I am back.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
I peeled
usually
off.
They do Amber alerts here in California. They had an Andre alert go out.
We was here in Chicago. Yes, chat loved that one, Jack. Good job.
Yeah,
Good
they did.
Yeah. What would the Andre alert be? Do they just like barricade the doors at Tao?
They text everybody.
I've been to Tao.
They text everybody a picture of George Costanza on the couch.
Oh, so gross. So gross. This is the real one. Yes, this is the real one. All right, guys, let's get this trading. But there are some rumors. I love that. 80. Wow. All right. Well, we just saw the YM flip big time. We were 85% short. Now we're 85% long. That's a massive flip. I don't know that I've seen something like that. NQ 72% long. We also got CS 69% long. But yes, big flip in the YM. We were 85%. We are now 85% long. That is a big time flip.
Yeah, we are for the last basically since the top of the hour, we have seen this kind of tighten range bound here between 203 and 224 now.
Okay, I'm a coward, so I did take that off for now. See if I can get better if it comes back in.
Reload.
Yeah. I'm fine either way. It's the day before CPI.
Mm-hmm.
Not a coward, Jack.
How many? You're running a 1 lot, right, Jack?
Oh, I just took it all off right now. Like,
you did? Okay. I mean, that's an awesome trade. You took that. What was it? 8 points? 10 points?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a great trade.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Take them where I can get them.
Mm-hmm. All right. What else we got going on here? We got crude continuing its kind of push to the downside. Gold looking a little bit consolatory around VWAP here. Looking to see what we can see here in the S&Ps and the NASDAQ. I think we're all currently flat, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What kind of levels are we looking at here? Now we're kind of hovering around 5220 in the S&Ps, 18,200-ish in the NASDAQ. Still below 39,000 in the Dow. But are we looking for kind of a rebound here in the equities back to the upside? I'm not. I mean, Feels like the sellers have kind of taken a breather for the time being. So if we can kind of run it up a little higher with no one looking, what do you think the play is here, guys? Rips, what kind of levels are you looking at here in NASDAQ?
So we have 224 as a level here. We do have 224 as a level in the NAS. So if we do break above that level, next level to the top side is 261. Do remember, we've gathered a lot of downside liquidity here. So a squeeze back up to the top side is more than likely. But again, a reversal back down, we'd have to see 166 breaking down to the downside. But this is looking like it could get pretty poppy above these 224s here. I just do want to give a quick little update on the market internals here. The NYSE volume is at 121 million shares, which is very low. It's 18% below its 1 month average. Advancers are leading decliners today, 1.4 to 1. The NASDAQ volume is at 1.42 billion shares, which is only about 2% shy of its 1 month average. And advancers are leading decliners by 1.5 to 1 there. The VIX is inflated. It's up 5%, and it's currently at around 15.89 here.
Nice. Thank you. Hey, John, while I got a minute, how's Delta looking? We've seen a lot of market movement today, a lot of action. What are we looking at for Delta? You're on mute.
Mute.
Of course I am.
Still moving the upside.
Minus 9,000 basically in the S&P is Delta, and then NASDAQ minus 4,200, congruent with direction.
Cool. 10:07. All right. So keep an eye on that. See how that plays out through the day.
Andre, the level that I was really kind of focusing on, and the level I'm looking for opportunity, if we can get a pullback towards it, was this opening range from Thursday. That's where buyers really took over after that big break on Thursday. You were gone on Thursday, right? Yeah, you were gone.
Yeah.
And then this was the opening range the next morning. And this is where buyers really started to come in and try and push price higher. So where do we get to in the S&Ps? That opening range.
What's the price?
So, opening range. Well, I mean, take a look at the day session low here, 52.08 quarter.
Yep.
And that's in the opening range. So, there's nothing finite in futures trading. So just the fact that we've put in our day session low there right now, we get an opportunity to come back down to that level. It cheapens the trade. And if it holds, we may see a pretty decent reversal back to the upside today, because that's where buyers came in on Thursday. Price ran through it, but we opened above the low here on Thursday. Opening range, the low of the session. Buyers took over right away. We come back to that level, it's an opportunity. So, I mean, it's we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the day, but that's really kind of where I'm focusing for an opportunity right now. And I told you I've been kind of hawking this 1,000 tick chart, and this is what I was looking for. We put in lower highs, lower lows. Now we put in a higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And I want to see a decent pullback to that good level. If we don't get one, that's okay. But that's basically what I'm looking at here in the S&Ps.
Good stuff.
But man, that move below the previous day's lows, that's been two good trades we've taken off of that, Andre.
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Isn't that awesome, man? We learned from one of our guests here that came on TopstepTV.
Yeah. There's always more to learn.
When it gets short, it's been tricky getting short in these markets, as the bulls have been definitely dominating, I'd say, in the last 6 weeks, and hell, all year for that matter. And then, new guest comes on and kind of puts different things in perspective. And sure enough, we cherry pick some of that strategy, and boom, 2 for 2, man. That's the good stuff here at TopstepTV. It's all free. It's all free. All the shit. You saw Rips carve it up. John, get on board with the sell-off, man. I mean, this is where it gets really good here at TopstepTV. Yes,
I've been trading 35 years. I don't have anything inside of me that says I know everything. I'm learning every day from Rips, from you, from Dolby, from chat. I mean, there's so much out there to know. If you stop learning, you stop living.
Hey, I love that. So badass, man. So badass.
It's a great hogism right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. What's up, Jack?
It is mine, I think.
Jack, what are we looking at over there? We're trying to get some time here get JD in for chart of the day and some streaks, but the markets have been rocking and rolling.
Yeah. No,
Jack, what do you think? We can squeeze it in.
We'll get JD in. We'll do the stats pretty soon. I was actually in the background just doing some research because I'm always curious about kind of how option stuff plays into this. We talked before about all the crazy NVIDIA calls and kind of snowballs. If it starts going down, the market makers got to keep hedging by selling.
Right.
Just something I'm looking into.
Okay, cool. Jack, always getting down in the weeds and getting to the bottom of this stuff. All right, here, crude making new lows here because we continue to sell. Trading 85.38. I did see gold just tagged a new low. Thank you, Eddie. Well, that was a big turnaround. Boy, Marcus did end up turning around last hour. Last hour or so have been seeing some good trading going down.
Yeah.
Well, real quick while we have a mini break, JD, are you there? Are you there, Doherty?
Doherty.
JD is present. What's up, guys?
Okay, there he is.
I can hear you, Jack. All right, let's get through this real quick. We'll rip through these hot streaks. Way to cover it up, by the way, guys. This is really entertaining. All right. Hot streaks, starting from the bottom. Kyle is back after taking about a week off. Picked up right where he left off. Took about $250 out of the ES yesterday to continue his streak. The rest of the list is pretty much the same as yesterday. Gabriel, 21 days. Dan, 23 days. Jay, 25. And Jacob holding strong with a nice 32-day heater.
32 days.
All right, let's look at yesterday's best live P&Ls. Wow. Okay, we're going to start with Julio down on the bottom. Julio picked up $1,800 trading the NASDAQ and micro NASDAQ yesterday. Then our boy Isaac picked up $2,000 in the ES. Corey with close to $3,700 trading the ES. Solomon with $5,800 out of the NASDAQ. And Pin. We kept talking about Pin yesterday. Yeah. What a day for this trader. Pin took home a total of $18,300. Broken down, he took $13,400 out of the gold market and $4,900 out of crude oil. So Pin is definitely spreading it around nicely. Well done. All right, I'll be back at the next break for the top 10 list. We'll hold off on the chart pattern while the markets are moving. So I'll get back to you guys in a minute.
Thanks, JD.
Thank you, Jay.
32 days straight. 32 days. What a hot streak. Hey, 87% long now in YM. It's pretty heavy. We haven't really rallied that much. So keep an eye on that. But yes, we did see 85% short to the downside as the market did go lower. Now we're seeing 87% long. So the majority have been hopefully getting paid as they have been getting with momentum.
We are seeing volume steadily decline as well here, Andre, which is indicative that the move that was architected for this whole flush of Zito to happen has probably come close to the conclusion here. So this is kind of where everybody battles for scraps. I don't think that we're going to see a large move out of this unless it's towards the close or towards that bond auction, the three-year note auction.
That's right.
Where then we would have potentially a reversal of this move coming right back up to say 5240s in the S&Ps, maybe 18,300s in the NASDAQ here. But this is the area where it's really easy to get chopped apart. And from a psychological standpoint as a trader, we're used to seeing things repeat itself. So if you're playing a sport, you're playing tennis or you're playing golf, you're really used to just repeating the process. You go up and you tee up a golf ball, you practice your swing. The swing is trying to be better and better on everything. Trading is not like that. You don't really have control over repeating the same movements. Trading is much more like surfing, where we can't control the tides or the waves. You have to wait for the waves to become a good break in order to catch a nice big wave. And when it comes to markets, our brains have a hard time figuring that out, where after a big move's happened, we try to chase a big move where we don't have that opportunity. So when the market is giving us a lack of opportunity like this, it's good to remember that the waves have crashed, the market has made its move, and if you're trying to force the issue in this type of market, it's likely you're going to get chopped apart. So taking a breather and observing, going back and studying the chart, looking for what could have got you in for that bigger move is going to serve you a lot better than trying to dial in a move where it doesn't exist here.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, we were looking for those 224s in the NASDAQ. If we can push through maybe to target the 260s here in the NASDAQ. 224 to 260 in the NASDAQ. See if we can get some follow through here. We are 89% long YM. It is growing. 71% long ES. We still got the tilt up for free, folks. Preview is not going to last forever, but take advantage of it while you can. Crude chopping around these lows right now.
90% makes me want to short it.
We're almost there, Jack. We're at 90%.
Else.
We're at 90%. 90.21%. YM. 90.21%. See if it grows.
I don't think the world has happy stories like that. I wish it did.
Yeah, that would be nice. 91%, Jack. Wow. 92%. YM.
It's still rallying, though.
It is still rallying. They're right. They're on the right side of this move. Yes. All right. 224s to 260s. There, rips. Let's see if we can get pushed to the 260s in the NASDAQ. We're keeping an eye on those levels. Nice little call there. If you did get along those 24s, you are 20 points in the money at the very least. 92%. Long.
All right. I took short one quick. I'll explain why in time. We're keeping it very tight.
Stay tuned. That's called a tease.
This is just taking a shot at it. Yeah.
What's your target to the downside? Stop.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah. I took that super tight. I'll give myself maybe a shot at it if I see it again. But we're kind of going back into this like pseudo gap that's been formed. Like the reason I bought before is because we got back to where it had consolidated a few days earlier in the ES, so there were some buyers there. But yeah, now I'm going to stay hands off for a little bit. That's okay.
Still looking for that push to the upside here, Rips.
Yep, looking for those 261s to trade. Once we get up to that level, that's where we saw the first rejection this morning. We flushed down into that level and we found bidders ready to buy the price at 261. So that would be a pretty decent level that we could watch for an overhead supply. If that does flip and we do find those same aggressive buyers that we saw early in the pre-market session today, then we could potentially make our way back up into those 300s like we said, but it's pretty unlikely. A lot of liquidity is going to have to take us to get us to that push. This is where we had rejected right along here, right there. We rejected off of that. So we're looking to see whether or not that is going to serve as a point of overhead supply. We did break above and we retest that area. There is a potential that we could blow and go back up to where we had sort of most of the volume being contracted here up at those 355s. But that is usually going to be the most unlikely scenario here that we're working with.
We just see a bit of a peel back here. Only 86% long in the YM. Jack, are you still short?
No. That was a heat check.
Heat check. And are you hot or no?
I lost $100. Well, like, it was kind of hiding out there. I just didn't want to like move. Now it has pushed it even higher. I'm looking at the ES.
Gotcha. Still no news. People are in the chat asking what was the catalyst behind this all. Still nothing. Algos,
somebody got CPI numbers early. That's the rumor on the streets.
Man. My man.
We're going into the conspiracies. I love it.
I love it.
Well, there's really only, in my mind, there's really only a handful of opportunities that would create a move like that. One, somebody has access to the news early, or there's some displacement that's being seen in the options market. So you see a big hedge taking place and everybody's rushing to go and fill where we need to re-hedge the hedge. And then that re-hedges add into the momentum of hedging the hedges and so on and so on. It could be that, or it's a large fund is directing that and maybe bluffing, which happens. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much bluffing is actually done in the stock market. There's a lot of bluffing that can happen, especially before a print, that if they're anticipating for this print to be favorable for the market, they can bluff to bring the prices down and then buy up all of that liquidity that we've seen on that big flush to the downside. So, I mean, there's a multitude of options, but none of them are news driven. It's more so institutions playing with big money here.
Indeed. Okay. What next?
Crude chopping around. Let's take a quick peek at gold. Haven't given that much love. Oh, yeah, big sell off there. Ranges have gotten wider for sure, but that little creep higher to about 2384. We saw a massive sell off, trading 2367s now. Gold's seen some volatility lately these days. So for all the gold traders, good luck to you. It's the market is not sleepy like it was a couple months ago. There's some good opportunity in the gold. Hoop was saying we're going to see 2400 soon. Might see it this week. See what happens tomorrow with the inflation numbers coming out. But for the time being, go take a peek at the YM. Things are starting to tick back higher. Eduardo, I don't know what that number is.
Okay, doke. Just hanging
Rips,
out
I
here
love
right
that
now.
61 level.
It's not a bad one, right?
61 level in the NASDAQ.
Right.
Yep.
It's the low of the initial balance, 70.
Right.
And that's where we ran all those stops. Hit that down to 61. And that's when sellers really started to come in after we got down below that level.
Yeah, it caused me to be a little bit of a deer in headlights on the way down. I was waiting for a little pump fake at that level. We just blew right through it. So it was, we got the first pause just under it. But yeah, it was moving very, very fast today. Sometimes those levels just blow right on through.
Yep.
Yeah. But a move back to that initial balance high, initial balance low again, that level 18,270. And we, that's a sweet level, because if we reject IB low, we head back lower. If we accept above that level, then we could see that unlikely scenario that you were talking about, rips back up to what?
355s, perhaps?
350?
Yeah, 355s. Wow. It's where we have a lot of liquidity resting, and it's where we, there was an agreement of price up there for a little bit of time. And, we like to transact where we have agreement in price. If you're remembering that, John is very much well-versed in the auction theory and Jim Dalton's teachings. And, you participated in that auction in real life. You were a fantastic bid trader yourself. And so when you're focusing on this, not so much as looking at charts and technicals, and you're looking at where was their value acceptance in price? Where did the auction agree that we should be transacting in price? That's generally where the auction is comfortable going back to. So could we make it back up there? It's unlikely, but sure, the price would like to auction there because we found value there earlier.
Yeah. There was an agreement there. I mean, that's a volume point of control, 18,349.
Somebody asked about the caption contest. We'll be emailing the winners, and throughout today, we'll show a couple of our favorite submissions. But the market's been moving a bunch, so we're a little behind on that front.
Yeah.
That's in peace then right now. It's okay.
Yeah. I was just going to mention that too. When we're talking about this auction here, you have to remember that, there's larger hands that are playing the market here, and it's not so much retail players that are moving these big sweeping moves. It's large institutional players that are doing this. So when we're looking at that sweep of liquidity to the downside, you have people who are filling large orders there, and then they control the flow of inventory back up to the upside. So when you say clues like what you just said, Andre, where we're seeing a very thin market, either up or down, those players are not offering that liquidity to the upside because they want it to run back to that value acceptance price that we're talking about, potentially up at the 350s that John and I were discussing. So, if you're controlling the inventory and you can pull back from the inventory, and that inventory is topside resistance, you're able to caress or give the price a little nice caressing back up to the top side. If you're not offering a lot of inventory there, and the thinner you're making that top side liquidity, the more likely it's going to run. And as I'm saying that, we're pushing up. We just pushed up from 226s there up to about 46, a 20 handle move on very thin liquidity there. Looking over at the book map, I mean, that's on thinner liquidity, and it's because they're controlling the inventory. Imagine if you were an institutional player and you wanted the price to come back to that topside acceptance area of 350, would you be sitting there offering inventory on the way up, or would you be waiting until it gets higher to that price and then starting to unload your contracts?
Exactly.
All right, Andre. I think we have JD in the wings.
I think we're ready. I think we're saying after looking at volume's tapering off a little bit. I think we got JD. Let's bring him in for the top 10 list. Good call, Jack.
What's up, guys? All right, we've got our XFA P&Ls from yesterday first, real quick. Let's check on those. Here we go. Nothing but big numbers coming from the XFA traders these days. Starting from the bottom, Charles with more than 11,000. Thomas with close to 12,000, Tevin over 12,000, Paul with 12,700, and Dylan with a whopping $26,800 yesterday.
Ooh, damn!
All these traders were carving it up in the Nasdaq too. Every single one of these traders traded in the Nasdaq. $26,800.
A day like yesterday. That's just amazing,
right? We're going to be seeing Dylan's name again in just a little bit.
Oh,
all right. Here's the bottom half of our top 10 list.
Okay.
There he is.
All right. We'll start at the bottom again. Johnson dropped from 7th down to 10th after dropping about $6,000 across 2 XFAs yesterday. Stephen B is back on the list. Stephen jumped from 13th up to 9th place after spreading $5,400 over 3 XFA accounts. Then Firuz didn't move from yesterday. He made about $1,000 and has settled nicely into 8th place. You moved up to 7th from 9th after picking up about $2,000. And Dylan, who we just mentioned, he was on the list a couple weeks ago, and we just mentioned him in that XFA P&L list. Dylan spiked up. He was in 36th place yesterday, moved up to 6th place after that huge $27,000 day.
Nice.
Trade in the
It's a
NASDAQ.
nice month yesterday.
That was real nice.
Next month in a day, yeah.
All right, Eddie, hit me with that drum roll.
Ooh, snare. Oh. It's the remix.
Okay.
Nicely done. All right. Isaac, we mentioned him earlier on the live funded P&L leaderboard. He held on to 5th place with that nice $2,000 winner yesterday. We also mentioned Pin earlier. Pin had that big day trading gold and crude oil, held on to 4th place. Sheng Jing is still in 3rd despite a $3,000 drawdown yesterday. Our boy, Mr. Slow Markets, the dad is getting more correct. It's not perfect yet, but he's moved up into 2nd place. He did take a hit yesterday, but he's maintaining a high account balance in the live funded account, and he was up pretty big overnight. I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but I think he was up $8,100 before the open this morning.
Dakota.
So shout out to Coach Dakota. Then our leader Raj took another $9,000 drawdown yesterday over 3 XFAs, but he's still not giving up that top spot just yet. Dakota's hot on his heels though, so we'll see what happens going into the end of the week.
Oh yeah.
All right, folks, that's what I got. Don't forget to fill out that group coaching form pinned in the chat. We need some questions for Coach Robert, guys.
Nice plug, JD.
Hey, you're very good.
Nice plug, JD.
But
Very
next
impressive.
time what? Okay.
Rips, I think you're going to be on that leaderboard tomorrow, man. If you hold this balance, I think we're going to see your name on there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see how that all shakes out.
We're kind of drifting a little bit higher, but that was some good action there, fellas and ladies, for those trading it up. Hopefully you're able to capture some of that profit, but man, still no headlines. That was just strictly, maybe someone did get the number, Rips. I'm not sure, but I do.
Almost got us up to that 61 level there in the NASDAQ, Rips.
Very close. Very close.
Almost.
I mean, you could look at the fact that we rejected off of that level as some weakness, but with volume declining as much as it has, it's really leading me to not want to take any more trades for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Well, you've already had a really good day.
Yeah, not too bad.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. Exactly right.
Lock it up. Lock it up.
It would take an extraordinary level of confidence for someone to want to come in right now, like big players. Like the move's been made. CPI is coming in less than 22 hours or something like that. And who's going to place that bet in front of it? Unless they know it, which we have discussed. So
Jack, I saw you nodding your head in agreement when we're kind of talking about they have the number, but then Rips also alluded to the fact that some major options action was going on. You started nodding your head in agreement. What made you agree with something like that in terms of this move?
I mean, you can see it, especially a purest example would be in individual stocks, right? Like if you look at NVIDIA right now, NVIDIA was selling off hard. It still is. I think it's bounced back a little bit. Let me check real quick.
Okay.
So
yeah, we're trading 840s in it right now.
Right. It got as low as like 830, I think, but it's still off 4 or 5%. Especially with NVIDIA and Tesla are kind of the kings of the retail option trading market. And market makers, if people are buying all these crazy out of the money calls in bulk, as the price goes up, the market makers have to buy more and more of the underlying to hedge the position. So that's what can create like a gamma squeeze, like having the Tesla, probably having the NVIDIA too. But the same thing applies when it goes down, right? So if it starts selling off, it adds fuel to the fire as they unwind these long positions to hedge the options.
Good stuff. Taking a quick look. All right. Go ahead, Johnny.
If I can, I want to show Dolby and everyone why when we were looking at crude oil, this is the crude oil profile, right? So yesterday's range value, we left the opening range at the low of the session. When we took out the low of the opening range and the initial balance, we had left a potential failed auction to the downside, right? We talked about that a little bit earlier. So what we're looking for is if we're going to continue the move lower, we don't want the market to come back inside and reaccept inside the initial balance at some point here. So D, here's that potential failed auction, right? The C line of TPOs. D opened in the line of C TPOs, did not close or come back into the initial balance. That's going to be a short. When we leave a single line of TPOs, even one single TPO here, we don't get back inside the initial balance. That's a short, and we can see how the market has really been kind of continuing to push to the downside, or at least attempting to try and push to the downside. Now we've got another little line of TPOs here that might act as resistance. You got to remember that a lot of traders are going to be looking at this level as a potential short. So you're going to run stops. If you're thinking about getting short here, don't get short here. Let the stops get run. And then when the stops are run, then you look for your short. Now, of course, these are basic general nuances and rules. Nothing works the same way exactly twice. So, but that's why, when we were, looking at the potential failed downside auction and it did not come back inside the initial balance, sometimes it'll test into it and then reject. But we never even got back into it. So that's what makes this opportunity a short in crude oil. And we see that it's, again, that it's played out nicely.
And what is that number, John? I can hear a disturbance in the force of MP in my ears.
Yes, I'm sorry. I try and remember, and I think that everybody can see them, but they can't. So the initial balance low is 86.08. 86.08. So when C period, that's the third half hour of the session, D period opens in the spike to the downside and does not close back to that initial balance low, again, 86.08. We left a single TPO there at 86.07. No sign of acceptance of the initial balance again. And then the market has continued to try and push to the downside. And thank you, Jack, for reminding me of that. I'm trying to get better at calling out all the levels that we're looking at, because it's difficult to see. And again, I apologize for that.
I think I did it a bit more amiably too. You'll notice that I did not go,
It's okay.
MP's not, right. MP's not watching right now. God damn it, Hope, the levels.
I know. And I know I'm bad at that, and I'm trying to get better at it. So again, when I do that, call me out. No problem. I'm not going to cry, because, it's important to kind of put those levels out there, not just here and here. Damn! Oh, here. Okay. We just did it. Look at this.
Yep.
We just ran the stops. Oh, wait, that's not the same. Oh, that's not the right level. Oh, yeah, it is the right level, because we had single TPOs here between 85.77 and 85.79. Okay, we said if we're going to short here, we want to catch the stops, which we just ran those stops. Now we can look to take the short. The problem is, where is
I just did a little snipe as you were talking there, John. I did a little snipe myself there. You're guiding my trades today. I got to tell you, the information that you're dropping today is absolute pure diamonds.
Ah, good. Well, good. I'm glad to help. Were you trading crude?
No, I was trading not crude. I was trading the NQ, but we're looking at the exact same structure that you're discussing right now.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exact same structure.
Good stuff.
Awesome. That made my day.
Very nice, Oak.
Well, Jack, taking a look at that YM, still 84% long, so they haven't really come off that much. We're drifting higher. Short, oh boy, the NASDAQ catching them big as well as the ES. But John, you were right, hitting those stops. That's when you get in there and get that short.
Mm-hmm.
But looks like the buyers are saying, "Oh, buy as a pullback."
Yeah, looks like they are. That'll be truly done. I got short one as well there. Probably get stopped now, but once again, not for a lot.
And
This
that's
is diddling.
Jack.
Yes, but I'll get stopped out here, and that's okay.
Focus him. I like that. All right, Rips. What's the count? What's the count at P&L wise? Haven't checked in with you in a minute.
13.7.
My man, picking and choosing his spots.
Very nice.
Well, aren't you glad you didn't lock it out?
Yes. I mean, there was just that little move to the downside, tucking below 224s that I just had to go for, and that was that last little scoop down that we caught. But yeah, I'm seeing volume declining here. We had big volume in that scoop down, and that's why I closed that, because we didn't have continuation. We scooped not even into the 200s. We're talking about the 200s on the way down. Same thing works on the way up. If we're auctioning down to those 200s and we don't trade 200s, the market should rebound off of that. And sure enough, we traded 207 halves all the way back up to basically 237. So a 30 handle bounce here. But you can see we're kind of creating the these are the triceratops spikes on the back here.
Yes.
Kind of spiking across the triceratops here, and it makes it a little bit difficult to find continuation when we're creating that. So,
yeah. And that is an industry term.
Yes, and excuse me, but as the father of a 2-year-old, I believe it's Stegosaurus, right, that has the things on its back, right?
I knew I had the wrong dinosaur.
And the brain the size of a walnut. Hey, listen, I hear more about dinosaurs every day. I become an expert. I'm like Sam Neill in Jurassic Park at this point.
So what is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, great question.
Ooh, that is a good one. You'll never guess what my son would say.
Don't say Hogue.
Oh, John. Oh, dude.
The kids all love T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That's a cool one.
I think I like pterodactyls just because that's crazy. Flying death birds.
I mean, if you're shorting, I love the Stegosaurus.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Rips. Oh.
Stegosaurus.
I mean, I could keep going. Triceratops.
Yeah, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this.
Dark drinker with the Hogosaurus. Hogosaurus.
Hogosaurus. I love it.
I like the velociraptors.
Yeah.
The point is,
we are still chopping around here.
You're still alive when they begin to eat you.
Clever girl.
I like turtles.
Yeah, they're cool too. I agree.
All right, guys. We got about 17 minutes left here in fast markets. Markets have indeed been fast today. It's good to be back. See the markets jumping around. And
Andre, you did that.
Yeah, I did for sure. The markets I knew I was back. That kind of trading's been a little bit sideways right now, which is okay. We just see the action, and you saw Rips carve it up. John's levels. John got on board the trade to the downside as well. We're saying sometimes we still don't know why. I mean, maybe there was some options activity that did trigger this, but sometimes just, like I said, get on board, ask questions later. Rip's levels, John's levels were coming in nicely. And now we're just going to kind of wait and see. We do have that 3-year auction at noon. Rips, if you don't mind, I wanted to kind of pick your brain on something you said really early this morning before the opening bell, before all those profits were had.
Yeah, I'm all flat, so I'm all yours.
Cool. The rate cuts, all right? Rate cuts. So we're talking coming in this year, we're talking about 6 or 7 rate cuts coming to 2024. 7. Hell, 7. Then we picked back to 3, and now we're talking 2. I mean, or should we?
2 is basically solidified now. We're at 2. So we were at 3. Now we're at 2.
So the trajectory of where this thing is going, why are we not seeing more of a sell-off in equities if we're peeling back these rate cut projections? You know, where's there's a disconnect here from what I'm gathering. And, you know, how do you wrap your head around something like this with now we're at 2 rate cuts, right? So where do we go from here?
Well, you know, it has a lot to do with the idea that we are, as Jerome Powell says every time, we are dependent on the data, the Fed being we. The Fed is dependent on the data. He says this every single meeting. We're always going to be looking at the data points, and he clues everybody in, all of the market participants, all of the traders out there. He clues everybody in exactly what we're looking for. And in the case of 2 meetings ago, we said that we're looking at the employment numbers. This last meeting that we just had, he kind of said, well, the employment's hot, but who gives a flip? And let's kind of look at where CPI is landing, where inflation numbers are landing. And the jobs data came in a little bit hot, the ADP jobs data that we had, and it came in a little bit too robust for what we're looking for. And we had some commentary out of Cash Gary, and we had commentary out of V. And that's what kind of really spooked the market, all as well as, you know, we've been going up and up and up, and the structure's been looking for some type of opportunity to have some type of pullback, right? As I'm saying this, you know, CPI could bring us into new all-time highs tomorrow. Nobody really knows. Given the price action today, you could argue it either way that we're going to go lower or higher from here. But the Fed is specifically looking at the data of where we are with inflation and keeping inflation under control. And as we keep pushing that number back, you know, saying that we're going to reach that the 2% target in 2025, 2026, now we're talking about 2027. And they've said that now, you know, talking about voting members of the Fed, they're saying that they're not afraid to raise rates if that's what we need to do to keep inflation from running out of control. Because remember, rates are kind of the lever of whether or not we're keeping inflation under control. And even though the data has been suggesting that inflation is slightly ticking down, we've kind of reached this point where it's no longer ticking down, but it has the opportunity to now spike up. And that could be a violent spike up if the Fed doesn't have this under control. Because if inflation stops coming down, you know, based on the data, then they're going to be in a world of hurt, especially if let's just say we had a rate cut in this last meeting and inflation is ticking up. That doesn't mean that the Fed is doing its job. So they have to pull that lever of bringing the rates higher, which will restrict the amount of money that's available in the economy, because you're going to see big players rotating out of equities, going into fixies, because fixies are going to give you a much better yield than equities. And the potential of even more than one rate hike from here would bring people into that. And we're seeing the yield curve right now suggesting that might be the case. And smart long-term investors might be looking to go into fixies now and out of equities after we've had this big boom in equities. So there's a lot of different variables on the table right now. We do have a next FOMC meeting on May 1st. That's going to give us more information on things. But right now, the Fed heads are telling us that there's a potential that we may not even cut this year and that we may be looking at rate hikes on the table. By the way, we are pushing up here again on no news.
Yeah, we are rallying. Yeah, rallying. Yes, we are. 92% long YM, 92% long with this rally.
There's your level, Rips.
There it is. Finally, we found it.
Yeah. Hit it. Okay.
And a nice rejection rate off of it there. And I love when our levels line up there, John. You had a very similar level to that, right? You were 60 evens.
70 evens was IB low.
Gotcha. Very nice. Anybody catch that to the long side? I was just yapping away, missed that whole move there to the long side.
No, it was just very, very rapid.
It was.
Out of nowhere today. It's been both ways. Out of nowhere up, out of nowhere down.
Mm-hmm. Rips, with the recent employment numbers, they say that they blew the numbers out of the water, but it's all short. It's part-time work, and there was zero expansion in manufacturing jobs. How do you think that the market is digesting that?
Well, I think that's going to lean into what we're seeing on Thursday. That's going to be the PPI print that we're going to see. So we're going to see how much that intermingles with that print. I would be concerned that if we start to see the industry names like industrial stocks and starting to cool off there, if we start to see that really be a threat, that can start to kind of bleed into the GDP numbers as well, because the PPI read kind of is a forward-looking guide, whereas the CPI is kind of a rear-looking guide. So if the producers are paying higher prices for things, that means inflation's out of control and those costs are going to be passed to consumers. So even if the CPI read comes in cool, we could see a reverse if the PPI comes in hot. And when we're seeing people out of when we see people in those jobs, that's more money in the economy. That's more money being paid out to those people. That's stronger industry. And if we have that, that's trouble for the economy. Well, trouble for the Fed, good for the economy. And the Fed doesn't, again, want that to run rampantly. We're trying to restrict the amount of credit. We're trying to restrict the amount of money that's available in the economy. And the more restrictions that we have in that money available to regular consumers or even businesses, the more prices should cool, because that's what's worked in the past for the Fed.
Okay. And I mean, when it comes to inflation, we have to really call it what it is. It's not lowering; it's slowing, or that's at least
Correct.
what they're still trying to do now.
Agree.
It's still higher.
Yes. And their target has been lofty. 2% is a lofty target. We may run into an environment where they kind of put the kibosh on 2% being a target and say, hey, 2.5% is the new inflation target, which again, still is very lofty. We've seen the Fed do that very often, and they can move that goalpost all day long. They're in complete control over everything here. And we're just the suckers who have to sit back and watch the show unfold. But thankfully, as traders, you know, you don't really get tied into this stuff in the way that you get emotional about it. You just look at it day by day. As Topstep traders, we can't hold positions overnight. So you just want to look at the landscape day by day. How is this going to affect the price action today? And if the answer is not at all, then who cares? But you know, long term, if you're managing your 401k and you're self-managing your own portfolio, yeah, there's a risk that you're running there. But as a trader on Topstep day by day, you're just looking for the price action for the day. None of this stuff should really matter to you in a way that you're getting emotionally tied up in it. So enjoy the show. I think it's a fantastic show to be a part of, and we get to interact with it every single day. But take all of these clues and use them to your advantage as a trader. Don't get emotionally tied up in saying that, the price shouldn't be doing this, or the inflation's not even real. The numbers they're telling us are complete lies. You get wrapped up in that type of emotionality with these trades and the numbers that are coming out, you're not going to be able to trade it effectively.
You create a bias by doing that, right? And you don't want to trade a bias. You want to trade what you see.
Correct. Lacey agrees too.
Absolutely.
Yes, she does.
Well said, Rips. Well said. George, I saw you in the chat. I know you're thinking what I'm thinking here in the S&Ps and NASDAQ. We are creeping towards that number, but I don't want to jinx it just yet. Still 87% long, and YM, keep an eye on that the entire time. It's a strong long bias. Nothing really showing in the other markets around there. But yes, that was quite some action. Rips with the number, with the levels. Nice call there from 24s to 61s. Did take some time. Was like pulling teeth, but they didn't have to take too much heat on the 24s, I don't believe. And we are still moving to the upside here.
Yeah, it seems to me, based on what I'm seeing on the tape here, is that we're popping a lot of these early shorts, because you have institutional shorts that can take a lot of heat, and then you have late shorts that were probably shorting under 261 here that are now kind of saying, okay, let's reject and pull this out until we have the CPI print. There's a lot of folks going into that where, the trade's simple. If we're looking at the S&Ps, you're shorting under 35s there, looking for 5200s to trade. On the NASDAQ, you're shorting 260s. You're looking for maybe 200 evens or 195s, 175s to trade. And once that's negated, you're just taking the trade off. And that's what's fueling these little pops to the upside. And we're seeing, again, we talked about this about 40 minutes ago. The liquidity is being controlled by the same market makers who are selling this down to the downside. And if they're controlling the liquidity to the upside, they're those buyers that are collecting all of that bid side liquidity off these lows. And they're just not offering any kind of offers. They're not providing thick offers to the upside here.
Yeah,
just
those
thick
offers
in the NASDAQ.
Thick offer.
Thick offers drifting back towards, after all that, drifting back towards VWAP.
Sure is.
Yes. 6 points away.
Just ripped all those stops at the IB low in the NASDAQ. We haven't gotten back to the IB low in the S&Ps, which is 5240. 5240 is the IB low in the S&Ps. 18,720 was the IB low in the NASDAQ. We took out those stops right there. Let's see if this thing can turn around or if it reaccepts inside the IB in the NASDAQ.
John, initial balance is determined the first hour of trading, right? First off the opening bell.
Yes. If it's not currently being extended at that hour level, sometimes it can expand a little bit that way. Yeah. But most of the time, the IB is going to be just pretty much the first hour of the day.
First hour.
We got all roads leading to VWAP.
I mean, George has been hinting at it in the chat. I know he's watching intently here.
I see that.
It's crazy. It's been working.
Yeah, just think all you had to do was just buy those lows and just sit back and collect your check.
I wish it was that easy all the time. Yeah, just buy the lows. Yeah,
buy those lows and just kick back, put the feet on the desk.
I wish it was.
I did that, as a matter of fact.
Actually,
but,
did.
And, wasn't kicking back. Therein lies the rub.
Yes, it does. Gold's still selling off here. Thank you for that hoop.
Little confluence with the VWAP currently in the S&Ps. I have it here at 52.41.
Yeah.
And where is the IB low? 52.40.
If that's on a level.
Little confluence there.
John, quick Delta update. About 50 minutes ago, it was minus 9,000 in the ES, minus 4,200 in the NASDAQ. We've kind of been pushing a little bit higher, so I want to see where Delta is at now.
Right now, regular trading hour session only minus 6,100 in the S&Ps, minus 2,100 in the NASDAQ.
Okay, so
and that's rounded to the nearest 100.
Thank you. So we're starting to see that unwind a little bit. We got about 5 minutes left here in fast markets. Boy, it's been pretty fast today. Good stuff. Watching Rips carve it up. John carving it up. Jack getting in there. Did buy the lows, but didn't kick his feet up. Jack, next time you got to kick your feet up when you buy those lows, man. I think that's
the key trick right there. Feet on the desk.
The key to buying the lows is you kick your feet up. And just watch those profits rally.
Just that easy. That's probably one of the worst things as a newer Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, please go ahead. You're up.
I was just going to say, it's one of the worst things as a newer trader is after the fact of a big move like this, you kind of look back and you just, you abuse yourself mentally thinking about, if I would only have done just this, it's just so simple in retrospect. But in hindsight, it's always the easiest. And these types of moves, they invite those fleeting thoughts, of course.
Yeah, I mean, so are the Powerball numbers in retrospect.
Only 5 of them? That's it.
It's just 5 numbers. I could have picked those 5 numbers.
So simple.
I've heard of those numbers before.
I have to cite, there was an Onion headline about that. I did not write that one, so credit where credit's due.
Yeah, but overall was a fun morning of trade, and I think there's some credit there. John and I both had the same idea that we were talking about early on before the market even opened. Talking about even though we're not anticipating a day of price action where we have favorable action either long or short, and we're looking for a tight and constrained thick day, leading you to say I don't believe that anything's going to happen. But like John says, ACH, anything can happen, and today is one of those days where takes apart, what you're expecting. And if you're managing your expectations, keeping them low, and you're just paying attention to the price action, there's opportunities abound.
To keep a tight range like that, people on both sides still need to have conviction. And it seems that some people or some institutions had conviction to the downside. And because of CPI tomorrow, there's not a lot of people willing to be like, well, this isn't right. We shouldn't be moving before this. So it makes it easier to cut through. The ultimate irony of it. I was expecting it to stay in range today, like pretty tight, but then once it gets through it, there's no one willing to step in.
Yeah. So looking forward, moving forward for the rest of the day with 3 minutes here on Fast Market. I mean, Jack, you've seen markets forever. We trade sideways. We just kind of drift higher with all the sellers kind of exhausting themselves and kind of getting back into the range that we saw prior to the sell-off, I guess is, kind of my question.
I mean, once it gets to that VWAP, because I'm just looking at the ES right now.
Right.
It's made, one giant move to the downside, then came back a little bit. But just to put this all in perspective, I saw somewhere the other day that the S&P 500 has not had a 2% down day in, let me look back to this, I think in a very long time. So talk amongst yourself for a second here.
Well, John, like we always say, I mean, the market's been eating up shorts for 40 years now. And I think that's kind of to Jack's point there. We haven't seen a down day or 2% down day in however much amount of time, because there's a natural bid to this market, and eventually we will see new highs, but we kind of are stuck in this range for the time being. We got CPI and PPI later
If
tomorrow.
anyone in chat can find that for me, when's the last time we had a 2% down day into ES? And so, I mean, the moves that we've had this past week, while have been kind of violent relative to what we've seen, are not so far outside the norm. I mean, things like that happen all the time. So, like everyone else, I am ecstatic for 7:30 Central tomorrow to see what the next month will look like.
Ecstatic,
I'm going to step out on a limb. I'm going to step out on a limb here and say I think they're going higher, unless, of course, they go lower.
I love that. I love it. Never fails. You're batting 1,000.
I could be a talking Fed. I could be a talking Fed.
You should. Very good. All right, gentlemen. Well, that was an absolute pleasure. Rips, my man, always good to be back. Good to see you, and great training with you. Jack, thanks for joining. Good training, great levels, catching that short to the downside. Real quick, let's do a preview for the upcoming day here. We got power players coming up next with Zach Anthony. It's a new one too, the rotation. Please tune in for that. Jack with Anne Marie here at Top Quiz. Eddie and Mick with the shoulder tap group coaching, like JD said, with him and Robert. We got Eddie, Robert, Deanna for Marcus talking about D. Ooh, Johnny in for Power Hour, myself, and Dolby. Let's trade this sucker up. We are going to keep an eye on that short squeeze, or as that delta grows. And if that delta gets large enough and the market doesn't break enough, who knows? We might see a house account trade. We're talking 25 lots, folks, in the ES. So I've been given the all clear to perhaps execute that house account trade. So something we'll tune into for Power Hour if the trade does present itself. But anyways, guys, that was a lot of fun. We got the movement we were looking for. And we got power players coming up next. I'll see you guys on the other side.